and Poland's vibrant cultures reshaping Europe. Would you believe it if I told you that these two countries are about to reshape the fundamental nature of the continent? In the coming minutes, we'll reveal their rapid climb to power, their unified vision for Europe, and the groundbreaking actions that make them the forerunners of a new era. Let's explore the incredible path taken by Poland and Romania as the continent's new leaders. From the ashes of a violent history, a new chapter rises in the heart of Europe. But how did Romania and Poland, once plagued by conflict and poverty, grow to become the vanguards of a new era? The origins of Romania and Poland's perseverance can be traced back through centuries of vibrant history. Both states have endured invasions, occupations, and revolutions. Despite the turbulence, their strong spirit remained, creating a communal drive to recover their identity. Warsaw's 1944 uprising and Bucharest's 1989 revolution are important occasions in their fight for freedom. These significant events testify to their people's tenacious will, committed to carving out their futures amidst adversity. Since the turn of the millennium, Romania and Poland have displayed incredible economic endurance. Poland's GDP has surged by over 150% and Romania's by an astonishing 200%. These nations have altered their economic landscapes, laying the way for a bright future. In the aftermath of World War II, their recovery was tough, yet resolute. Both nations renovated their infrastructure, resurrecting their cultural identities while developing a strong sense of oneness among their people. The echoes of their mutual hardships and successes resound through the fabric of both communities. Over the past decade, Romania has witnessed tremendous growth in its IT sector. This occurrence led to the establishment of dynamic startup communities and a digital landscape overflowing with innovation. According to the European Commission's Digital Economy and Society Index (DESI) study, Romania has exhibited significant development, placing fifth in Europe for integrating digital technology. With an astonishing 85% of the population utilizing the internet daily, Romania has reinforced its status as a tech-savvy nation. This title generates a favorable climate for tech-driven entrepreneurship. Poland's economic trajectory has also been quite remarkable concurrently. Utilizing its advantageous geographic position at the nexus of Eastern and Western Europe, Poland has become a key factor in the area's economic dynamics. The country's strong industrial sector, which consists of mining and manufacturing, has substantially boosted its financial strength. According to the World Bank, Poland's gross domestic product, GDP, enjoyed an impressive growth rate of 4.6% in 2019. This significant development has cemented Poland's ranking as one of the EU's fastest-growing economies. Additionally, both nations have sought alliances and joint ventures with international organizations. These collaborations help to create an atmosphere favorable to foreign commerce and investment. Thanks.
We've created some artificial intelligence software. It is the first of its kind in the whole globe. Over a 2-year period, I personally invested $3 billion in its development. So what does it accomplish? We start by asking you, what drives the world's rotation? Exactly. So we're better to start using computing than with money. This piece of software trades stocks, and it does so well that it closes deals.
To its strategic participation in the 3Cs initiative, Poland is now a key participant in the regional economic and geopolitical scene. The initiative aims to strengthen economic relations among the nations bordering the Adriatic, Baltic, and Black Seas. Similar to this, Romania's involvement in the European single market and strategic alignment with many EU programs have accelerated its economic integration and widened its international reach. The combined stories of Poland and Romania tell a tale of creativity, resiliency, and strategic vision. Their emergence as Europe's new leaders marks a change in the continent's balance of power and heralds a time of advancement, innovation, and shared prosperity. Do you know what makes Poland's and Romania's cultural landscapes so alluring? It is a tale woven through these countries' hearts, the that reflects various cultural influences, enduring traditions, and historical threads. Romania and Poland have seen a fusion of cultural influences throughout history, influencing their identities. Romania has been a melting pot of cultures, with influences from the Dacians to the Romans, the Byzantine Empire to the Ottoman Empire. They have all left their mark on the country's traditions, artwork, and architecture. The remarkable architecture in the quaint towns of Maramuresh and the historic province of Transylvania represent this mix. The elaborate wood carvings that grace the entryway of rural homes reflect a tradition passed down through the years. But without mentioning its vibrant folk traditions, the cultural fabric of Romania would be incomplete. Imagine the villagers dancing to the catchy beats of Romanian folk music while wearing colorful hand-embroidered costumes. Are you aware that the renowned George Enescu Festival, one of Europe's most prominent classical music festivals, is held in Romania and draws musicians and fans worldwide? Similarly, Slavic, Germanic, and Jewish influences have shaped Poland's history, resulting in a complex and varied cultural landscape. The intricate religious paintings that recount Poland's spiritual past are proudly displayed in the UNESCO-listed wooden churches of southern Małopolska, which are part of Poland's rich cultural legacy. Frequently tucked away in tranquil settings, these architectural wonders prove Poland's rich religious history and artistic skill. Pierogi, borscht, and kielbasa are a few Polish foods that have won worldwide praise. Did you know Poland has one of Europe's most colorful Easter customs, with ornately painted eggs signifying rebirth and fresh life? Kraków is a cultural center in Central Europe thanks to the throbbing energy of its yearly International Cultural Festival, a fusion of art, music, and theater that draws millions of people annually. Therefore, the cultural diversity of Romania and Poland continues to be a light of innovation and resiliency. Their colorful tapestries, stitched together with the threads of innovation and tradition, stand as a monument to the resilient spirit of these two countries. Following massive geopolitical tremors, Europe is at a crucial crossroads, with traditional powerhouses battling internal issues. The European Union has experienced several extraordinary crises over the past few years. These include the refugee crisis and the uncertainty surrounding Brexit, which have tested the bloc's cohesion and solidarity. The emergence of populist movements and the waning adherence to democratic ideals have simultaneously put doubt on the European project's future course. Romania and Poland have emerged as steadfast pillars of fortitude amid this turmoil, preserving the fundamental principles of democracy, stability, and economic development. Their impact in the region is unmistakable, with an astonishing combined GDP of over $1.3 trillion. With a booming IT industry and a rise in foreign direct investment, Romania's GDP has steadily increased to $260 billion. On the other hand, Poland has a much stronger economy, with a GDP exceeding $1 trillion. Since the fall of the Iron Curtain, both countries have seen significant changes. The 1989 revolution that marked Romania's transition to democracy is evidence of the country's tenacity in the face of difficulty. It is similar to how the White Eagle's battles under communist control culminated in the revolutionary solidarity movement, which finally caused the Soviet-backed government to fall. Their joint struggles against tyranny have strengthened their devotion to democratic principles and provided the groundwork for their current positions as defenders of European unity. But these changes weren't a coincidence. After Romania joined the EU in 2007, it used EU funding to modernize its infrastructure, encourage innovation, and advance a business-friendly climate. This calculated move paid off, bringing in foreign capital and boosting essential industries, including manufacturing, agriculture, and information technology. Notably, Romania's IT sector prospered, seeing a 40% gain in export earnings, a sign of its growing technological competence. Renowned for its tenacity, Poland profited from its skilled labor force and robust industrial foundation. By implementing responsible fiscal policies and investing in human capital, Poland diversified its exports and became prominent in machinery, electronics, and automobile production. Poland established itself as the manufacturing center of Central Europe, bringing in a sizable amount of foreign investment and promoting stability in the economy. While both countries prospered independently, their economic cooperation served as a stimulus for even more prosperity. Through joint projects like the infrastructure link between the Baltic, Black, and Aegean Seas, known as Via Carpathia, Romania and Poland are creating a deeper economic relationship to increase trade opportunities and simplify cross-border connectivity. This significant project is expected to revitalize local economies and confirm Romania and Poland as the economic hubs of Central and Eastern Europe. Romania and Poland have made tremendous progress in embracing digitization as the digital revolution reshapes the world's economies. The use of cutting-edge technologies combined with a competent workforce has enabled e-governance, digital banking, and e-commerce platforms to be seamlessly integrated. It has also transformed how business is done and services are provided. The alliance between Poland and Romania has produced notable gains in commerce. The most recent
Notino Black Friday je tu. Kupite povoljno i bezbrižno s besplatnom dostavom na sve. Na primjer, proizvode popularnih brendova Hugo Boss, Giorgio Armani i Estée Lauder. A to je još jednostavnije i brže u našoj aplikaciji. Notino.
Ova inovacija krenula je riječju ne. Zadovoljni ste perilicom ispred sebe? Ne. Tiha je? Ne.
Eurostat data show that trade between the two countries has significantly increased, growing by an astonishing 27% in the last 3 years. This increase can be linked to the coordinated initiatives designed to simplify cross-border trade regulations and promote a favorable business environment. Their significance as key entryways for local trade and commerce has been cemented by their strategic location at the intersection of the East and West. The land of the Poles has over 70% of the Eastern European market accessible within a day's drive. The port of Constanța is growing as a critical maritime gateway for the region. Additionally, Romania's strategic access to the Black Sea and the Balkans places it as a significant player in the continent's energy and economic networks. The cooperation between Romania and Poland goes beyond only being strong economically. They collectively supported the crucial EU measures, securing a strong and unified Europe. Recently, both countries pushed for aggressive carbon reduction goals to show their dedication to battling climate change globally. Beyond business relations, Romania and Poland's defense cooperation has drawn much interest. Both countries have invested considerably in updating their military infrastructure, demonstrating a solid commitment to bolstering NATO's collective defense procedures. These nations' apparent unity has resonated throughout the European defense scene, highlighting the rising relevance of their relationship in preserving the area's security. The future of Europe has new guardians, thanks to Poland and Romania. As this unlikely pair rewrites the history of European leadership, the winds of change are blowing stronger. Don't forget to like and share this video. You can also hang around for more fascinating videos on the evolving dynamics of Europe. Thank you for watching.
This video is brought to you by Nebula. The Schengen area is one of the great examples of European integration. A border-free area comprising 27 European countries, allowing for the free movement of its hundreds of millions of inhabitants and anyone visiting. You could, for example, travel from Toledo to Tromsø, crossing multiple national borders without anyone checking your passport. But the free travel area is arguably in crisis, with member states re-establishing border controls amid migratory fears and attempts to expand the area being repeatedly blocked. So in this video, we'll explain what's going on with the Schengen area and why some say it no longer functions. Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos. To begin with, it's probably worth explaining a little more about what the Schengen area is and where it came from. The principle of free movement has long been key to the European project, with the 1957 Treaty of Rome containing provisions on free movement between member countries. While this was significant, the concept of free movement at the time applied to working Europeans and gave them the freedom to settle and work in any member state, but fell short of dismantling border controls between countries. Then, in 1985, a breakthrough agreement was signed in Luxembourg, near a village called Schengen. This agreement between 5 of the 10 European Economic Community member states proposed the gradual abolition of checks at their common borders, and a supplementary convention signed in 1990 proposed the complete abolition of internal border controls and the establishment of a common visa policy. The agreement entered into force in 1995 and has fallen under EU law since 1999, when it was incorporated by the Treaty of Amsterdam. Nowadays, the Schengen area encompasses most EU countries, but also 4 non-EU states: Iceland, Norway, Switzerland and Liechtenstein. There's also Monaco, San Marino and the Vatican City, microstates that aren't Schengen members but effectively operate as if they are. On the other hand, there are 4 European Union member states who are not part of the area. These are Ireland, which has an opt-out, and Cyprus, Bulgaria and Romania, who are obligated under EU law to join the area in the future and are at differing stages of the process. It's here that we get to the first of the troubles facing the Schengen area: expansion, or rather its difficulties expanding. The newest member of the Schengen area is Croatia, who officially joined at the beginning of 2023. Croatia became a member of the European Union back in 2013, so its path from there to becoming a Schengen member took just about a decade. Romania and Bulgaria, however, have been EU members since 2007, but are still not part of the Schengen area, despite trying to join as far back as 2011, when they completed the evaluation process. Their efforts have been blocked despite repeated calls from both the European Parliament and European Commission, who say both countries have fulfilled membership requirements for years. In fact, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen raised the subject in her State of the Union speech in September, saying they've proved it, so let's finally bring them in without any further delay. The problem for Romania and Bulgaria is that accession to the Schengen area requires unanimous approval from current member states, and they face continued opposition from just one or two. In Romania's case, Austria is the roadblock, while for Bulgaria it's Austria and the Netherlands.
Do we try here?
This video is brought to you by Nebula. The Schengen area is one of the great examples of European integration. A border-free area comprising 27 European countries, allowing for the free movement of its hundreds...
Okay. Let me click on something else. Which one did I not click on?
As the Israeli armed forces head into...
It's not giving me the 3 videos only, you little loser.
Welcome back, my friend.
So this is good, right? This is good. Nice. Okay, now I was just thinking though. Hey, guys, do you know what's the advertisement with Elon Musk? Because I saw it like 4 or 5 times so far. I skipped it every time. And now I was wondering downstairs while I was cooking coffee, like, I'm pretty sure Elon Musk himself would not pay an advertisement for himself, right? So it's probably not an advertisement for Musk by Musk. I guess it's something different. Do we know what it is? Have you ever seen the advertisement itself? Have you seen what it is? I'm sure he wouldn't pay for like Tesla to be advertised or something, or Twitter. What is it? Why is there him speaking? Is it Gaia? Because I swear to God, if it's Gaia, I'm going to just stop using YouTube overall. It took me months to get away from them. Today should be the EU... Wait. Oh, by the way, I woke up like quite recently, went quickly to driving, came home, turned on the stream. Today I've seen 0 news today. Okay, it was literally waking up, home, nothing else. So I don't know if they have released the news about European Union enlargement. I'm not sure. Narrowing minority rights in Ukraine is unacceptable. Fidesz is horrible. Fidesz is horrible. Government agrees to ban smartphones in Irish schools. This is the Sarajevo. Sarajevo. What is going on there? Heads of the cabinet did not reach an agreement on the recommendation for the opening of accession negotiations in the progress report for Bosnia. Media speculated that the European Commission supported the opening of accession negotiations with Bosnia, along with Moldova and Ukraine. But now is it known that there is great resistance to issuing recommendations for Bosnia. The report for Bosnia will be discussed today at meeting of European Commission commissioners in Brussels, after which the document on EU enlargement package is scheduled to be published. Okay, so not yet. It should be published later today. We'll see then. We'll see then how exactly it goes. But I also saved this, but I don't know if you're feeling like watching an hour and something video. But it's on European Youth Hearing, and basically they're talking about 10 ideas that gathered the most support during this year's European Youth event. So young people, do we want to hear what young people are saying? I don't really know how much I trust their opinions, but we might check just to kind of see. Closed door voting in EU Parliament to force browsers to give governments access to their crooked security sets. Oh, is it? Wait, then they already have... Where do I even find what they're planning to be voting for? Oh, by the way, have you guys been using the Geo's Instagram recently? Instagram, when you log in, it gives you the... Today in Parliament... It gives you the thing of like, do you want to watch advertisements or do you want to pay to not have to watch advertisements? And basically the way it's set up, at the end of the agreement, you have to agree that Instagram is allowed to use your information in order to show you advertisements. You have to agree to it. They set it up in such a bullshit way. It's like, oh yeah, we're not stealing these people's data. They have actually consented to it. And you gotta either consent or you gotta pay. Strengthening the right to participate, legitimacy and resilience of electoral process in illiberal political systems and authoritarian regimes? Show me. What is that? What is that all about? Foreign affairs? Yeah, I would assume it's foreign affairs. I wanna see. Technical information, documentation gateway. Bro, why do I need to click on like 20,000 different links? Just show me what I want to see. Okay, European Parliament. Whereas the right of citizens to vote and to be elected in periodic, genuine democratic elections are fundamental internationally recognized human rights. Article 21 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states everyone has the right to take part in the government of their country, and people's will, expressed to periodic, genuine, universal elections, must be the basis of government. Oh shit, this is a lot. Okay. What do you want? design and implement more decisive EU actions to promote and protect the right to participate as part of much broader strategy on human rights and democracy support. Underline the intrinsic interconnection between the right to participate in genuine elections and other fundamental freedoms, or particular, the freedoms of movement, opinion, and expression, assembly, and association, as well as the right to be free from discrimination, without all of which the effective enjoyment of the right to participate in genuine elections is impossible. Counter the narrative promoted by autocratic illiberal regimes that they have mandates from their citizens as a result of genuine elections. Okay. Strengthen link between election observation work and the European Union's wider support of human rights and democracy. Ooh, guys, I don't know if you remember. Claire Daly and Mick Wallace both were observers on some relatively sus elections happening worldwide. I think Vatnik soup goes into them. So you know, if we talk about observing the elections in autocratic regimes, maybe we should deal with the fact that people within European Union Parliament itself are already supportive of that. Fuck, I saw Matt Wallace, I was like, Mick? Here's Claire Daly, here's Mick Wallace. Oh, look at this fucking clown. Look at that fucking clown. What did they... Which elections did I see that they were... Oh, he attempted to wipe out parts about the Russian involvement in shooting down MH17. Shit. Was it Nicaragua? Could be. I remember he went specifically there, like they were quoting that they had oh no, this is like new shit. This is new shit already. They were quoting that they had foreign observers, and the foreign observer was this piece of shit. It's either him or his wife. I never know which homeless dude it was. It's always one of these. Let me see. If it's not here, like, we can just go to Wikipedia. Oh, here it is. Daly and Wallace both. 221. Daly and Wallace traveled to work as unofficial election monitors in Venezuela's parliamentary election and Ecuadorian general election, without a mandate or permission from the European Union. So when we talk about people observing Susi elections, when we talk about these regimes pretending that they have proper observers, maybe we should talk about the fact that within European Union Parliament, we got people willing to play along. Maybe that should be one of the issues, you know? Hey, let's talk about autocratic illiberal regimes and also how we are directly aiding them by allowing our MEPs to go there and suck them off. Maybe it would help, maybe. Oh yeah, I do stream around the work schedule. So if I work in afternoon, like today I'm working afternoon, then I stream in the morning, and you know, vice versa. I saved this. I actually saved like few links from Discord that I want to look through. Let me see if this is... No. He was doing so well. The new brainstorming stops working. Yeah. To be fair, I would probably do the same. I would probably do exactly the same thing. It's a dumbass human reaction. Like, you don't really think about it, right? Hey, there's more aid going to Ukraine. I've seen something similar to this thread yesterday too. It was well explained. But yeah, about how it's not really just like cash money checks being given to Ukraine. That's not really how it goes. Most of the money allocated to help Ukraine never leaves the US. Every dollar spent in support of Ukraine is authorized by Congress and used for a specific purpose. For a relatively modest amount of money, US aid helps Ukraine dismantle Russia's armed forces without a single American firing a shot or being shot at. Russia has lost more than 20,900 major pieces of equipment. Noise. There has never been more accountability for US military assistance than what is available for Ukraine aid. More than 160 officials across 20 federal oversight agencies monitor US aid to Ukraine. Europe did spend more than US on Ukraine aid. Noise. Total European commitments are now double than those of the US after totaling all aid, military, economic, humanitarian, and refugee. I believe Poland is like carrying the refugee part of this. Victorious Ukraine means a safer Taiwan. Russia is China's junior partner. A weakened or defeated Russia means a weaker China. I think the idea of weakened Russia shouldn't be even presented. It must be defeated. This is like... no. Defeat, that's it. European stability, which Russia is trying to undermine, affects the American worker. North America and Europe account for approximately 48% of the global economy. US and Europe are each other's largest export markets. This is what I kept telling to Americans, and they keep on acting stupid about this. But USA absolutely relies on peace and stability in Europe, so we could both be having strong economies. If Europe starts having conventional wars all over, USA economy itself is going to be fucked. It's not like they can have a proper trade relationship with countries currently engaged in a fucking war. It's not how it works. Stability in Europe helps USA. Lessons the US learns from Ukraine will make America stronger in the Indo-Pacific. Supporting Kyiv has exposed shortcomings in the US defense industrial base. Deployment in Ukraine has tested American-made military hardware in a way that is impossible in peacetime. True. Weapons the US is sending to Ukraine do not impact America's ability to fight an Indo-Pacific conflict. 10,000 javelins or 2,000 stingers will not be a determining factor in whether US can deter a Chinese invasion on Taiwan. Fair. Because of lessons the US learned by arming Ukraine, Taiwan is receiving weapons sooner. Congress has authorized up to $1 billion in weapons for Taiwan using the Presidential Drawdown Authority. Nice. Didn't know about that. Iran, North Korea enable Russia to attack Ukraine. Russia supports Hamas. Iran provided more than 1,700 drones to Russia. North Korea reportedly delivered more than 1 million artillery rounds to Russia. Russia received a Hamas delegation on October 26, which, while it's true this happened, I think the most important part of this news is that Israel was disappointed in Russia after this happened. Like, one thing I believe we can and should forever be clowning Israelis for is trusting Russia enough to be bitching about this. Oh no, Russia, why did you receive Hamas? This was a betrayal. Bro, it's Russia. It's fucking Russia. The fact they had enough trust in Russia to be angry about this is fucking laughable. It's Russia. Of course they're going to betray you. Ukraine is not a new forever war. Not a single US service member is fighting against Russia and Ukraine. US is not a belligerent in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. I think when people bitch about this being a forever war, I think they're bitching about something a bit different than what this tweet is explaining, but fair. US is not engaged in a proxy war. US has never instigated Ukrainians to fight. US is not forcing the Ukrainians to fight on its behalf. US needs to provide both military and non-military aid to achieve the greatest effect. First year of Russia's invasion eliminated almost 30% of Ukraine's economy. Ukraine's essential public services need to function for it to remain on a total war footing. True. Claims US aid to Ukraine has cost $900 per American household, and that the newly proposed aid package will add over $1,000 to the tax burden of every family of four in America, are wildly misleading. Federal income tax is not levied evenly across households. Fair. Should be some sanctions on those MPs that undermine the war effort. It's one of those things where I can't believe we are making it seem acceptable, because being against helping Ukraine means directly supporting the Russian genocide attempt. It means being complicit with Russian genocide. There's no way around this. If you are against helping Ukraine defend itself, you would be willing to let them die quicker. That's it. That's what it is. Like, there's no chance that we pull support right now and Ukraine manages to fight as effectively, especially when it comes to their economy being preserved, especially when it comes to them keeping up the production. They have started producing their own fancy weapons recently. They are talking about new drones, new anti-drone systems and everything. They are able to do this in big part because we are helping them, right? If you are against that, you are complicit with a genocide. And the fact we have MEPs complicit with a genocide, to me, is just laughable. The second they have revealed their opinions on this, the second they revealed they are complicit with a genocide of a European nation, Claire and Wallace both should have been removed from European Union Parliament. The fact they're still sitting there is genuinely insulting. Isolationist rhetoric in the US? Yeah, they have no idea what they're talking about, though. They have no fucking idea what they're talking about. It's always so stupid. Whenever you try to like engage in a conversation with any of them, it turns out they have no idea what they're talking about. None of them have a clue on what they are trying to comment on. It's such a dumb thing. It's like a society is so weak to the most primitive forms of populism. It just gets annoying when you interact with this too much. I don't know how USA is standing strong. I have no fucking idea. On one hand, I'm very, very grateful for their government, and I do imagine most of their society is supporting what the government is doing. So I'm hoping most of the society is normal, just isn't, bitching around on Twitter, so we don't see them as often. But bro, the ones bitching on Twitter are genuinely annoying. I don't know. GG USA. Every neoliberal country needs better welfare, but if the aid to Ukraine is cut off, there is no way those resources are automatically distributed to help the citizens. Yeah, that's true. Not to mention that when we talk about specific politicians who are calling for aid to Ukraine to be stopped and for instead to be helping citizens of their own country, it's a consistent theme, not just in USA, that these politicians tend to be the ones against helping people in their own country who need help. It's like here how we have, we recently just had a discussion in Croatia about helping Roma children get access to elementary schools, because a lot of Roma kids can't afford to travel to elementary schools, right? So we had conversations about, hey, should we grant them free access to buses so they can just go to elementary schools nearby them, right? Maybe we should do that. Maybe that's a way to help them. And people were immediately against that because, well, if these kids are getting free way to go to school, why don't all kids get it? And then what we did was we introduced buses. We actually have a new thing. It's been around for quite a short time in my area. It's these specific school buses. They drive all the kids to elementary school. But like the same people who were bitching about Roma kids getting free access to elementary school buses, right? They were bitching about these buses too. They were bitching about these fucking buses too, despite the fact that they were like, you're helping Roma kids, but you're not helping Croatian kids. You're so fucking cruel for that. But then you help all the kids, and then they're like, we can't help all the kids now. This is too expensive now. The fuck do you want? You want nothing. You want no improvement to happen in any regard. Come on. Hey, I don't follow USA. Where do I find the results of what happened in USA? I don't know what happened in USA. Mark Meissner? Who is Mark? I don't know what happened in USA. I'm a non-USA. person. Some news from various listening sessions. Ooh. Analysis from a Scandinavian country. Ukrainian war proved to us how backward we are when it comes to anti-aircraft defense. Everything was to be provided by the Air Force and the Americans. Turns out they had little in terms of anti-aircraft defense, mainly medium-high ceilings. The effect is that what we can give to Ukraine are mainly Polish designs, Immortal Stingers and Old Hawks. Shorted mobile battle and missile systems must return to NATO armies in large numbers. Okay, NATO is learning, nice. Frankensteins in Ukraine, okay. Anti-drone weapons and weapons needed immediately. Experience of Ukrainians is invaluable. French already have something. They're talking to Ukrainians, British and the Americans, okay. Similarly with long-range drones, the latest Ukrainian drone is now not a retroactively recreated Shahed, but its own design based on the idea of a Shahed. It has much better control and guidance system than the Iranian mopeds, okay. There will be no Iranian long-range drones in Russia. Russians and Iran are currently planning such constructions. China apparently has something like this, but they don't give it and they don't show it except rarely and to selected guests. Supposedly, they did present it to Shoigu. Range is 800 kilometers, small warhead. Behind the scenes in the US, they say it will take another 6 to 8 months for European and American defense industries to enter into such a production rhythm that they can supply Ukraine sufficiently. Here I need a definition of sufficiently. I need a definition of what sufficiently means. If they're saying sufficiently to defeat Russia, I support it. 6 months and we get enough shells to, blow the shit out of every Russian ass, okay. If they're saying sufficiently as in like enough for you to keep on standing, but not enough for you to actually win the war, not too happy over the timeline. So yeah, I guess I want an elaboration. Trump, because they don't want their money going overseas and spend it on helping them, but he will just give tax cuts to the mega rich. Oh, they're incredibly stupid when it comes to that. Incredibly stupid when it comes to that. When it goes to the whole idea of like, hey, I don't want to be wasting so much money helping Ukraine. So instead, I'm going to support a political option which is not going to be helping Ukraine. But then, like, Russia will not stop. So you choose to not help Ukraine. Okay, fair enough. You don't care about Ukrainians because, I don't know, you don't see them as allies or whatever. Russia is absolutely going to go for either Moldova or Georgia or Kazakhstan next, right? It's going for another country. It's not going into a peacetime. Russia can't afford a peacetime with the amount of corruption they have. It's going for another country. Whichever country it goes for, plus also we're already seeing warning signs. There's going to be something in Balkans. I am either seeing Dodik trying to join Serbia or a Serb attack on Kosovo, and a proper one this time because their last one failed. Don't know if you know, but Serbs attempted to attack Kosovo already. Didn't really manage because they had shitty planning. They basically... It wasn't the issue so much of shitty planning. They used the same tactic they used in 1990s, but Kosovo is much better protected, and Kosovo has its own proper police force. So Serbs were not expecting that. So that's why their attack failed. But yeah, we're either going to see another Serb attack on Kosovo, and a stronger one this time, or we are going to see Dodik attempting to join Serbia. Whatever we are going to see, it's going to be a test in Balkans to see how much NATO is involved in Balkans. Basically, what they are doing is they're poking and testing whether NATO is going to have the same balls it had in 1999. That's what I'm expecting to see. It's going to be, hey guys, look at us, we're attacking Kosovo again. What you gonna do? You going to suggest bombing of Belgrade again? What you gonna do? Let's see what you do. And what I predict is going to happen, NATO will not do a single thing. Which means likely a new conflict in Balkans, likely on Bosnian side of it, plus Russia going for either Moldova, Georgia, or Kazakhstan, depending on how it feels like. I feel Kazakhstan would be the easiest option if it doesn't want to get close to the West, but then of course you have issues with China, so... But the problem is basically you refuse to support Ukraine, you refuse to stop Russia right now. It's going to keep on going. The closer it gets, the more expensive it is going to be to defeat it. Like, he goes into NATO, you have to send your own men? Or what is your plan? Just not sending your own men? Not doing anything about NATO? Not making NATO a proper deterrent? You don't send men, you don't send proper equipment when it goes into NATO countries. It's going to keep on going into NATO countries. The closer it gets, the more expensive it is to defeat her. You're basically going to get fucked. This is defeating Russia right now at this moment. It's already too late, but it is the cheapest option we have. Israel and Gaza. I think Israel had a right to respond to Hamas terrorist attack, but I think the way they are responding is rather inexcusable. So basically the response was inevitable. I think Hamas knew the response was inevitable. But at the same time, I do think Israel could be dealing with this in a much more not war crime way. And I don't think they are. I don't think they particularly care about the number of civilian casualties. N7, heck yeah. I checked the video. I checked the analysis. I was following a few people who were posting about N7. They all seem happy so far. Also, there's something. They're expecting another piece of news relatively soon this week. So I'm kind of waiting for that. They want their land back before 91 USSR borders. I think they will keep on going as long as we don't destroy them. I think they're going to keep going. I think they will not stop. Because they see this as the idea of a war against the rotten West itself. They see this as a war against NATO. They see this as a war against global homo, against Europe itself. I don't really think they're going to keep on, trying to be peaceful. Even if they don't want to have a war on their soil anymore, they're going to start something in Africa. They're going to continue bombing Syria. They are going to continue causing conflicts. Russia is not a country that can live in peace, not with the current system it has. I don't want to say the current regime, because I feel it creates the illusion of, if Putin dies, there's hope for Russia. There's no hope in Russia. Regardless of whether Putin is alive or not, there's no hope for Russia in its current form. It cannot keep on existing as a country. So as long as it's around, it's going to keep attacking because it can't afford to survive otherwise. Kosovars, we call them Serbs. Yeah, I guess Kosovars. Kosovari. I don't even know what's the proper word for those. I don't even know what's the proper way. I think it is Kosovars, right? Never checked English, what is? Never checked a proper way to say it. Never checked. Do you guys say Montenegrins for people from Montenegro? Is that how you say it? Gorani. Nice. Oh yeah, they're just giving me Albanians. Not even giving me... But yeah, Kosovars would be the proper, I think, way to speak about the population on Kosovo, and then you have the ethnicities, which is a whole another conversation. But yeah, a lot of Kosovars are actually Albanians, which is why there's the idea of Kosovo actually wanting to join Albania. Serbs kind of see it as a threat because there's a possibility of forming the Greater Albania. Don't know how much you know about the Balkans. Have you guys seen the map of Balkans? Hey, yo, Evie, how's life going? Here's Balkans. Okay, here's Albania. What's the fractured Balkans? Holy shit. Here's Albania, here's Kosovo. Okay, they could be together. They could form what we call Greater Albania. Serbia fears this greatly. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why it's such a dramatic fear to them. It's not like Albania is gonna go and invade them if they do create Greater Albania. It's not like Kosovars would oppose joining Albania. I don't know where the drama is coming from, but yeah, there's the idea of them becoming one country. So, where did I stop? I forgot. I went through Vatnik Subs, did not finish the European Union thing. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, when they talk about the link between election observation work and European Union's wider support for human rights and democracy, they must acknowledge they have these two fuckers in the parliament who are directly supporting authoritarian regimes and their supposed fake elections. There's no chance to support proper elections and then to clip Wallace and Daly in your parliament. Counter-autocratic liberal regimes' efforts to create false internal perceptions of the genuineness of their fake elections. Same thing as the last one. Pay particular attention to autocratic liberal regimes' election-related abuses of information and communication technology. Same. Recognize crucial role of civil society in delegitimizing fake elections in the eyes of local populations. Support civil society organizations, human rights defenders, and the media, okay, by gathering data on violations and the right to participate in genuine elections. Seems hopeful. I do support it, but it seems a bit too hopeful. Mainstream information about genuine elections and people's right to participate in them. Make use of European Union's cultural diplomacy and international cultural relations toolbox to strengthen the right to participate. Give more support to initiatives related to election observation training and knowledge building. Explore possibility of introducing a standing invitation for election observation within the democratic clause in European Union agreements. Fair. Include outcomes of European Union election observation missions as an essential part of the overall framework for relations between European Union and the country concerned. That makes sense. I feel this one makes sense. I feel this one is making sense. Address the right to participate in non-European Union countries through European Union human rights dialogue. Okay. Okay. Oh shit, how long is this? Okay, not too much, but all of these are kind of vague. I support, I think this one is like the strongest one. Where like in European Union relationship with a specific country, what they will be mentioning is European Union efforts in election observation in this country. I think that's okay. I think I support that part. Maybe one of the strongest things we are saying here. Everything else is kind of vague-ish. Everything else is a bit there. It's like it's sad, but it isn't really sad, so I don't know. Oh, you haven't heard rumors of Serbian attack on Kosovo? Is that what we were talking about then? I think I wanted to respond. Let me see if they have a video properly explaining this, or if I should go. It's this. It was very dumbly done. It was a stupid thing. I wanted to see if they have a specific thing. They don't. It's basically a bunch of Serb troops are in this monastery. So from this monastery, they start an attack on Kosovo. One of them gets killed. He's treated as a hero in Serbia right now. I think like 2. Are 2 people treated as heroes right now in Serbia? I'm not even sure. But yeah, basically, I know one of them got killed. He has 3 kids, by the way. Man has 3 kids and he volunteers to go attack Kosovo. But the funniest thing about this, I would need to find, I need to make a whole file on this. Oh, Kosovo, let me see if I can find the pieces of evidence. Because they had strong evidence of this being supported by Serbia. And it was ridiculous. It was basically stuff like the weapons being directly connected to Serbian government. It was the man who was directly funding them being connected to the president of Serbia. Basically what happened is they could have fucking put a paper in their pockets, and it could have been a signed note by the president of Serbia saying good luck boys, and it would make less of evidence that this was supported by Serbia than everything we have gathered. It's a silly thing, plus the man who has supported it has been arrested in Serbia for like 2 days and then let go. So yeah, it's not doing too well. It's not doing too well. The situation is not really peaceful at all in any sort of a way. Oh, here it is. By the way, I found this writing. Was like a month ago topic. I'm sorry, I forgot some of the details, but it was this one. It's a Deutsche Welle commenting basically on the attack by sub-nationalist militias. Oh, maybe I could find a Wikipedia article on this. It probably has links. But yeah, it reminds of images from Croatia in the summer of 1990 when Serb paramilitaries ambushed Croatian police officers. Because, yeah, before the war started, that's what they were doing. They were sending paramilitaries into our land. This is what they did to Kosovo again. This is very similar to what Russia did in Ukraine. Very similar to what Russia did in Georgia. Exactly the same technique of like we're going to first infiltrate the local population. So when we actually do a full-scale invasion, you know, we go into territory that is at least somewhat prepared for our military. Oh, it's called Banjska attack in English. We call it Banjska attack. Cute, 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 cute. But yeah. Let me find Serbian state involvement. Serbian state involvement. Group had trained at the Serbian army base of Pasuljanske Livade 4 days prior to the attacks. Kurti Kosovo police director also alleged additional exercises occurred at the Kopaonik base owned by Milan Radojcic. Yeah, Radojcic. I was trying to remember his stupid name. Kurti disclosed the terrorist attack was part of a broader plan aimed at annexing the northern territories of Kosovo with the intention of establishing a corridor to Serbia for the supply of weapons and troops. Evidence retrieved from confiscated drone footage confirmed the attack's preparation within Serbia. High-ranking Serbian officials, including Vucevic, and Mojsilovic, were implicated in training of the attackers. So yeah, fuck them, just fuck them. And Thyssen are not there, as they occurred in 1990. I think what this was a test. But I do think they have very similar. They have very similar reasoning as to why they wanted to fight for Kosovo. I think it's a similar reasoning to why they wanted to fight for Yugoslavia, in a way of it being a war for Serbian power over a part of the world they deem as theirs. It's what they were doing in Yugo too, wasn't it? It was like, oh yeah, we had power over these Yugo states before, we don't have power over Yugo states now. So, we're going to try and battle them into it. Similar to think of Russian attack on Chechnya, the first Chechen war, by the way, which was presented as our favorite Russian liberal, Roman, as a war happening because of Chechen terrorist attacks on the land of Russia. It didn't. It happened because the independent Republic of Ichkeria has announced it's going to be separating itself from Moscow. So Russians went and invaded. Terrorist attacks came way later. Terrorist attacks, you could compare, if you are pro-Palestinian, you could be comparing terrorist attacks done by the Republic of Chechnya, Ichkeria, to terrorist attacks being done by Palestinian leadership right now, if you do see them as battle for liberation. I still don't think they are quite similar, but I could see the argument trying to compare them. But the idea that this is what started Chechen wars is absolutely false, because the terrorist attacks in question, actually done by Chechens, did not happen until way fucking later in this war. Way later. And at that point, all bets are off, basically. Hopefully they apply the election stuff to Turkey. They will not. I mean, Turkey is not getting into European Union regardless, right? Turkey is not getting into European Union. I do wonder what they do about Hungary. I do wonder what they do about calling out regimes which do not have proper democracy. I do wonder if this like makes them actually do anything about the fact that we are quite allied with autocratic regimes. For example, European Union still has a mission in Russia. I don't know if you knew about this. They still have a mission there. They organized a movie viewing thing just like a few days ago. It may even be still going on. I'm not sure when it started. It was like start of November. We still have a fucking mission there in Russia, a country currently doing a genocide. Like, so I don't know. I'm pretty sure that during World War II, anyone having the fucking diplomatic missions with Nazi Germany would have been rightfully condemned. Why are we doing it? I don't know why we're doing it. Kadyrov? What? Really? Really? Ex-Wagner. I'm seeing stupid news about him. There would be a big thing for Chechens. There would be a big thing for Chechens, huge thing of Chechens, because so far what has been happening, Chechens are basically in a situation where Russia has been attempting to ethnically cleanse them for as long as Russia was aware of existence of Chechens. Chechens have been strongly fighting against this for as long as they have been aware of existence of Russia. The existence of Chechen nation can be thanked to only and solely the bravery of Chechen people who did not give up in the face of Russian attacks on them. That's it. This has been going on for literally centuries. So when Chechens lost the war with Russia and when Kadyrov was placed in power, he did do a lot of things that could be seen as aiding Russia in its ethnic cleansing of Chechens and Russification of Chechens. If he is firing Russian officials that don't speak Chechen, I would see that as a huge balls move from a man, directly going against Russian policy on Chechnya. So I hope that's true. I hope that's true. Despite the fact that he is a piece of shit, I would hope to actually see him do something like that. That would be very, very surprising to me. What did he even do recently? Was the man doing recently anything like big? Are his people, are they in are they strongly involved in the war still? Are they getting out? What's happening with them? I haven't seen any news about them recently. Okay, he is anti-Semitic. The Russian officials' concerns about maintaining control over Dagestan increased. I know. Ex-Wagnerites. His 15-year-old son is now his bodyguard. Cute. That's a good thing. Also, by the way, I just got a comment on this. I'm seeing lots of news about like Russia losing control over Dagestan. Russia, I don't believe Russia ever had full control over these occupied lands that it holds close to itself. Russia is doing a thing where it has, do we want to say soft power over these lands? Basically, Dagestanis had very strong protests when mobilization was ongoing, right? What happened is Russia sent the officers anyways and just took a bunch of their people and left. The fact Russia doesn't directly control Dagestan doesn't mean that Russia didn't take the amount of people they wanted to take from mobilization. It's like the fact that we're now seeing it. I don't want you to see these news about Dagestanis protesting and to be like, this may be the start of crumbling in Russia. It very likely isn't. No republic on Russia, almost not a single one of them, can afford to be a republic on its own. They can't afford to break away from Russia. They will very likely have to stay apart of at least a local group of republics in order to be able to separate. So, for example, you have a Movement for Free Siberia. Movement for Free Siberia is more republics which could separate as one whole republic. If they separate as one, if they have talks about separating as one, you could actually see some sort of turbulence within Russia. But as long as they have like protests in one republic, two republics, three republics, which are kind of split up and everything, and they don't have organized resistance to the rule of Moscow, don't have hopes in any of this, okay? There's no reason to have hope in Russia just because you're seeing these headlines. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't have hope in them. And yes, Stonebreaker, how's life? How is life going? Suspected abduction of Chechen woman? What? Wait, no, Kadyrov sided with. When he was talking about 3 shots, he was talking about 3 shots against the protesters? He was talking about protesters? Man would shoot Dagestanis? Damn. Cute. So wait, on October 10, Kadyrov voiced support for Hamas. We fully support the actions of Palestine because their lands were taken by Israel at one time. By the way, if Kadyrov had a single drop of yaitsa in his existence, he would know that Chechens, in the same way, have resisted Russian attempts to own their lands, and that he is directly supporting Russian attempts to Russify Chechnya. He would know he's aiding this. He would know he's the villain in this fucking situation, but fair. So he fully supports the actions of Hamas, but he wants to detain the protesters. Make 3 warning shots in the air, and if the person doesn't obey the law afterward, make the 4th shot in the forehead. No one else will come out to protest. Interesting response from this man. Don't expect that. Russia will never be a lovely place to live. Requiem? Okay, it's about music. Oh damn, I was interested. What is this? They may be doing honor killings in Chechnya. That's what we have learned here. They may be doing honor killings in Chechnya. Well, well, we did not need to learn that, did we? Yeah, can't find anything about the language though, but I hope it's true. I hope it's true because it would prove that Kadyrov is actually doing something interesting. Hey yo, Draco, how's your life going? How is your morning? Hello. Hello. I have to go to work relatively soonish. I'm already rotting on the inside. Let me see what's the newest thing on this. BBC on demand. But it has to be this. Let's see this, let's see this, let's see this. It's like a month ago, by the way, a month ago, in case you didn't know.
Por ajo që dihet tashmë është se kemi edhe pjesëtar të atij formacioni profesionist ushtaraka policor të huaj që kreu sulmin terrorist dhe vrau mizorisht afrimin. I kemi edhe të plagosur, kemi edhe 3 të vrarë për i tyre.
Vučić is lying, by the way. Don't know if I need to tell you this, but I need to tell you this. Vučić is lying. Vučić is he's like a Russian. He opens his mouth, he lies. He's lying about this. Oh, that's just the you know, it's a virtue of him being a Serb. But yeah, I need you to know about this attack, okay? You need to be aware of this attack. I wasn't sure some people are not. You need to be aware of this attack. It's exactly the same thing they did in former Yugoslavia when Yugoslavia was breaking apart. It's exactly the same thing they did in Croatia. Now, again, the situation was in Croatia at the time we were not prepared. We didn't see them coming. We didn't know it's going to happen. Obviously, we didn't have drones to get the footage or whatever. So we didn't really respond adequately. Kosovo responded incredibly well. The reason why there were not more casualties of this is because Kosovo police was prepared, especially because recently they had clashes. Just before this, they had clashes of Serbs with the local Albanian population. So the police was on relatively high alert. So when something like a siege happens, they immediately reacted, which saved so many lives. But this is very similar to what Serbia did to former Yugoslav countries at the time. Okay, so it's important to remember that as being another dangerous front in the world right now, because there's a big possibility that a test of NATO will happen in the Balkans, and a test of NATO is going to be Serbia launching another one of these attacks, but much better prepared, much better equipped, and that this time they're actually going to see whether NATO is going to respond to them or not, which I truly believe it is not going to respond. I genuinely believe NATO will not do anything. So be careful over this, okay? Be careful over this. Be careful over the situation around. Don't lose sight of how big the danger is. I don't know if there has been any news on Dodik. Let me check what Dodik is doing. Dodik. Against the integration process as expected. Oh, Republika Srpska has the support of 10 to 15 countries to secede. 10 to 15? Who? Among them are also member states of European Union? Hungary. fucking Hungarians. It's fucking Hungarians. He's getting legitimacy because fucking Hungarians are supporting him. I mean, it has to be Hungary. Who the fuck else would be stupid enough to support this man? Has to be Hungarians. I don't think anyone else would be willing to do this. We will schedule a session on the National Assembly and declare the independence of Republika Srpska. Piece of shit. Some things have been completed. Croatian people formed their own state, Serbian people as well, and as far as the Republika Srpska is concerned, BiH is a negotiated state, and as such, of course, lives the destiny of a negotiated state, not a desired state. He's saying absolutely no one needs any attempted violence in these areas, but he is very, very, do I want to say carefully? Presenting this as like, oh yeah, Serb people have taken their chunk of Bosnia, so they can join their chunk to Serbia, right? Croatian people form their own state, so they may separate from Bosnia as well. What is left for Bosniaks? Nothing. Who attacked and attempted ethnic cleansing of Bosniaks back during the Yugoslav wars? Basically everyone. They will not have a state of their own. They will be part of our states. There's not going to be fucking stability in the area because of this. It's not going to fucking happen. This is not going to happen. Neither the Serbs, nor the Croats, nor the Muslim Bosniaks, nor the international community satisfied with BiH. Well, partially because you're a piece of shit, destabilizing the entire thing. Not to let Kufuor mission said its forces were present in the area, standing ready to respond if required. Nice, they did nothing, huh? Oh, this is like in Srebrenica. This is like in Srebrenica when UN was around and they were watching Srebrenica happen. And then they were watching it happen. And then they were aware it's genocide. And then they watched it happen a bit more. So that was it. That's the extent of UN actions in Bosnia. Seeing a genocide happen, go... Continuing to watch genocide happen. Fuck 'em. Standing ready to respond if required. Bro, there's an armed attack by paramilitaries on a country you're supposed to be protecting, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stand ready. If it gets too much, if they kill like 100 Albanians, then I might start responding. So far, they got one. Not serious enough, not serious enough. Let me drink another coffee and wait. Maybe they get more. The fuck was that? Avoid anyone who advocates kicking Hungary out. I don't know if there's a system to kick Hungary out. Do we have a system? I think we don't have a system to kick out a state out of European Union. I think they have to demand to be let out. Which is why you should support Hungarians when they bitch about this. Next time you see a Hungarian, I love doing this, because it makes them shut the fuck up every single time, but I also hope it creates a crumb of an idea in their minds. Next time you see a Hungarian bitching about global homo in Europe and stuff like that, just be like, hey, leave European Union. Go out, leave. You can leave, you know you can leave? Go leave. Go get out. Ask your government to get out. Do Hexit. Get out, come on. Literally no one would be sad about it. Literally no one would miss them. Get out. Go. Ish. Orban just keeps on being like, oh yeah, well, the European Union is like USSR. It's not allowing us to leave. That's not true. That's not true. Leave. Leave. Literally no one wants you in. Leave. Go. Ish. I was watching a video the other day of Chinese blue helmets getting shot in South Sudan and being ordered not to return the fire? What's the point of them then? Peacekeepers in southern Lebanon basically just watch as the two sides shoot at each other. So what's the point? What's the point? oh, heavier armaments in Kosovo, so they can stand at the side and wait. Ooh. Started blocking them at 2/3 of majority. Okay, yeah, that too. Everything Hungary wants, we should say no to. It doesn't matter what it is. Hungary wants anything, say no. Say fuck off, Hungary. Say suck a cock and leave. They record war crimes so that UN can then disapprove. Oh yeah, that's a perfect symbiosis, isn't it? There's a war crime happening and UN is there watching it. NATO forces are there watching it. And then they quickly run to UN and they're like, oh, UN, I saw a war crime happening. It was horrible. And UN is like, oh, no, let me write a letter. So they write a letter. That's the state of international law right now. UN goes, it is very bad that this war crime was happening while NATO people were around everywhere, surrounding the area, having to watch. Next time, please, turn them around so they face the other way, so they don't have to witness this. And then UN condemnation is vetoed. Not even that, but like even if it's not vetoed, they're not doing shit because it's not binding. What can they do? It's like with their stupid ass call for a ceasefire in Gaza. It's not doing anything. They're just jerking each other off. It's a bunch of diplomats sitting in a circle, jerking each other off, being like, oh, we're doing so much. You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. Oh, we call for a ceasefire in Gaza. Bro, it's not a binding resolution. What you gonna do if there's no ceasefire? You gonna bomb someone? You gonna send NATO military there to force peace? No, you're not gonna do shit. They're like, guys, please do a ceasefire. You're not? Well, we did the best we could. No, the fuck you didn't. Man, this is so goddamn useless. NATO first increased its troops with some 600 Turkish ones after the May 29 clashes with ethnic Serbs. So they already had increased troops in Kosovo, and then the Serb attack on Kosovo happened. They did nothing, and now they increased their troops more, as if that's going to help. Well, thank you. Well, thank you. Very useful. Just very, very useful. Incredible. Incredible. My man, I am so happy. The peace and stability of Europe resides in hands of these idiots. Just incredibly happy. Wow, can't wait for our countries to get invaded so NATO can quickly send some troops there to stand and watch. It's going to be lovely. They can help dig the mass graves while they're at it. Only time UN did anything was the Korean War and maybe of the Serbian intervention. Hey, UN was against NATO bombing of Belgrade. I think that's important to mention. UN was against NATO bombing of Belgrade. NATO went and did the bombing anyways, which was the time when NATO actually had humongous balls because they went against UN. But UN was still willing to, watch it happen. Even after, a decade of watching it happen. They were like, yeah, let's watch it happen a bit more. Let's watch it a bit more. Let's just observe the results of our great action. Let's observe the results of our peacekeeping, and then let's observe it a bit more. There should be a way to ask. Can I ask ChatGPT when did UN do something useful? Do you think they're going to give me any sort of a result? Because that would be lovely, that would be great. But hey, I wanted to show you the war update, guys, because we haven't seen Arthur in a while. So I'm gonna show you the war update, and I'm also gonna try to find when UN did something useful.
Be Tuesday. I wouldn't believe anyone actually
It's Wednesday, he's lying to us. Do we not watch him?
says this Happy Tuesday, but I do. Let's look at the news from Ukraine, and we do have big ones. If you go to the Kherson front, Ukrainians have actually transported their first armored vehicles across Dnipro River. This actually caused significant panic among Russian Telegram channels and military bloggers. Here you can see it being reported, and it's a Russian drone filming a Ukrainian armored vehicle crossing the Dnipro River. Now, Ukrainians have not yet built any pontoon bridges, and these are only a few single armored vehicles, but the fact that they are transporting them over means that these incursions over the Dnipro and the bridgeheads are not temporary, but they're there to stay, and Ukraine is looking into possibilities to expand them and exploit the Russian weakness of this front. Now, this crossing happened near the settlement.
I'm getting this. UN has helped end conflicts and foster reconciliation by conducting successful peacekeeping operations in dozens of countries, including Sierra Leone, Burundi, Cote d'Ivoire, Timor-Leste, Liberia, Haiti, and Kosovo. Now, I know the Kosovo one is not true, because they were opposed to bombing the fuck out of Serbia. So I know that one. They did have debates over what to do when it comes to Serbian attempt of genocide in Kosovo, but then NATO went balls in. NATO went and actually bombed Belgrade, and UN was actually bitching about this while it was ongoing. So I would absolutely minimize the fuck out of UN part in ending the genocide attempt in Kosovo. I would minimize the fuck out of their part here. They were basically just there to not help. When it comes to other countries, I might actually look into that. I'm not entirely sure what they did there. That might be interesting to see. But yeah, when it comes to Kosovo, they're full of shit. They are full of shit. They're lying on this.
Of Krinky, which is the newest liberated settlement by Ukrainian forces across the Dnipro. And on this footage you can actually see Ukrainian forces in Krinky having pushed out Russian positions. We have discussed it already that Russians replaced the commander of this front, and the new commander is General Teplinsky. Now, the Russian command structure knows that this is the weakest front across all occupied Ukraine, and Ukraine also knows this. In the near future, we might see pontoon bridges over the Dnipro carrying more heavy armor across. Now, my friends, we'll jump to Israel for a moment.
That's hopium, by the way.
There's an insane story that I feel like I have to report. An American-born police officer in Israel was stabbed by a Palestinian child. You heard it correctly, stabbed by a child. Now, when and how does this happen? But it did. It happened in Old Town of Jerusalem. On this footage, you can see the last video of her waving to the camera, smiling and talking to her friend.
Haven't even seen that.
Family in America. Elisheva Rosa Ida Lubin, a 20-year-old member of the Israeli border police, tragically lost her life in a stabbing incident in Jerusalem, which sent shockwaves to her hometown in Atlanta.
Wait. Double tapping in cluster bombing in populated civilian areas. Which operation are you talking about specifically? Which NATO operation are we talking about? Would love to see that. Yeah, no, not all of them. Pick a specific operation. We're gonna talk about a specific operation. When you talk about Yugoslavia, for example, you're lying. When you talk about Yugoslavia, you're lying, and I know you're lying because I know exactly what happened in Yugoslavia. I took extensive look into our conflict. You're lying about Yugoslavia. When it comes to Yugoslavia, not only did they attempt to bomb the military-related areas, a big number of casualties when it comes to these areas was because Serbs would intentionally push Albanian civilians into areas they knew were going to get bombed. A big chunk of casualties was just that. You do have reports on that. Yeah, that's true. You do have reports on that. You do have reports on these civilians being like, yeah, we were all sent into this fucking shed. We don't even know why. They were just sending us there. They were just fucking sending us there. No, if it's a military area, it's not a war crime. You can bomb military grounds. No. You have specific countries. When did they even ban cluster bombs? When did they even forbid cluster bombs? But also, yeah, it's about bombing civilian areas specifically. Class ammunition, class ammunition, class ammunition. 2008. Class ammunitions are prohibited for those nations that ratified the convention in May 2008. When did you think Yugoslavia was bombed? That's a first question. Second question, where were they used even when it comes to Yugoslavia? None. Central part of the city, niche. 23 civilian deaths out of cluster bombs in the entire bombing of Belgrade? USA and some others didn't even sign it. Yeah, that's another thing. It's like how everyone was bitching about USA sending clusters to Ukraine. But like, no one here fucking signed it. No, any amount of cluster bombing is not a war crime. No, that's not what it is. There's a convention to not use cluster bombs, but no, it's not true any amount of cluster bombing is a war crime. Wanting to hit specifically, targeting specifically civilians is a war crime. Wanting to kill specifically civilians, not taking care of civilian casualties itself, that is a war crime. But like, no, not any amount of cluster bombing is a war crime. That's a lie. That's a lie. Yeah, maximizing human casualties is not a war crime by itself. If you hit a military area to maximize human casualties, that's not a fucking war crime. That's you being effective. Maximizing human casualties in a war is not a war crime itself. If you shoot them into civilian populated areas specifically to kill as many civilians as possible, that's a different thing. I haven't just read that it's a war crime. What are you talking about? You mean the convention? That doesn't say it's a war crime. No. They're prohibited for some nations. That's not what a war crime is. This is you're just oh. This is like when people tried to talk about like war crimes regarding what was it? The act of surrendering in a war zone, and was also creating all of the fucking chaos situations. This is what it is. This is what it is. No. Individual countries agreeing not to use cluster munitions doesn't mean that using cluster munitions is a war crime. That's not what it is. You don't know what words mean. No, dude, no. These are like specific countries agreeing not to use them. They end up sitting around in the ground unexploded for 50 years, blowing innocent people up. That is true. That is true. In some situations, their use is acceptable, I believe. Like currently, for example, with USA giving them to Ukraine. The more cluster munitions USA gives to Ukraine, cleaner Ukrainian grounds are going to be. Because the cluster munitions Russia is using have a much higher failure rate and leave much more duds behind for civilians to harm themselves on later in the future. More USA properly made clusters we get to bomb the fuck out of Russian asses, they will be leaving less duds behind. Yeah, international rules of war. These are individual countries agreeing not to use clusters. International rules of war are not the same as specific conventions agreed upon by individual countries. You have no idea the fuck you're talking about. Ireland cannot use them by treaty. Even if Ireland uses them, it wouldn't be a war crime. Just a violation of their treaty obligations. Yeah, that's what it is. Like, you don't know what a war crime is. It constitutes a treaty that countries part of the treaty are obliged to follow. Just countries are part of the treaty. The treaty which was introduced in May 2008. You claimed NATO war crimes in bombing of Yugoslavia? What was the war crime in bombing of Yugoslavia? Bombing a hospital is not necessarily a war crime. Yeah, I feel even with... There's always the amount of excuses used for bombing areas like these, sure. Also for like sieging entire lands and everything, right? I could see that, like it's not necessarily a war crime. Just because they didn't make a convention before then doesn't mean it wasn't a crime before. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Like, it's not a war crime even now. It's breaking the treaty not to use clusters. It's not a war crime now, even. But, yeah. The convention, the treaty wasn't existing. The convention wasn't existing before 2008. Yes, no law was broken by using clusters, by, like, Britain, for example, was using them in bombing of Yugoslavia in 1999. This was before they signed the convention in 2008. They didn't break the treaty. Anything that involves more than one nation is international. Wait, dude! 2 countries agreeing on something doesn't mean it's prohibited for everyone else. That's not how this works. 2 countries agreeing not to use something doesn't mean anyone else is not allowed to use it. Yes, you did say it is. You literally did say it is by claiming it was a war crime by NATO to use cluster bombs on Yugoslavia in 1999. Yes, you did. 8 videos of Russians shooting themselves in the head. Ooh, have you seen the newest one? There's a new one. There was campaign. I don't care there was campaigning. The convention wasn't signed and didn't break the convention. And give a shit about campaigning. They didn't sign crap before this. They signed the convention in 2008, which was years after their actions in Yugoslavia. Yeah, in which specific action are you talking about? Which specific operation are you claiming they did this in? Where was I, by the way, on my video? Where was I on my video? Here I was. Here I was on my video. Here I was.
Resided in Kibbutz Sa'ad, a religious community in the Negev. And her family is from Dunwoody.
In an active combat zone?
Now, if you are from around
Would need to check it out.
Elisheva was quite active on Instagram, and in this video we can see her exchanging warm greetings with her cousin Tovi Helper, who also joined her to Israel from America. The Palestinian who stabbed her was only 16 years old and was reportedly shot to death by the border police after the incident happened. Also, another Israeli officer was moderately wounded in this incident. Since the war is going on in Gaza, a lot of this stuff is happening, and to balance everything out, I now report an incident from the other side. On this footage, you can see how Israeli forces have just shot a Palestinian woman at the Kalandia checkpoint on the Jerusalem-Ramallah road. These things do happen, and they are incredibly sad. Now, these poor civilians are caught in the crossfire. But my friends, now we...
Yeah, I'm finding the intervention was carried out to protect civilians to enforce UN resolution, Operation Unified Protector of NATO. NATO-led coalition. UN Security Council resolutions 1970. Voting. It was approved by all NATO Security Council members. All of them. So United States, United Kingdom, Gabon, Colombia, Nigeria, France, Bosnia, Portugal, South Africa, Lebanon, India, China, Germany, Brazil, and Russia. Every single one of them approved the resolution. Council expressed grave concern at the situation in Libya and condemned the use of force against civilians, condemned the repression and violations of human rights, attempts by Libyan government to incite violence. The statements were welcomed by the Council. Attacks on protesters were considered to amount to crimes against humanity. Yeah, I actually do have a new phone. I actually do. I downloaded a bunch of shit, so I would be able to find this stuff easier. Kind of sucks I don't have it on my phone. But I downloaded a bunch of shit just so I would be able to quickly look up everything. Security Council recalled Libyan government's responsibility to protect its people, respect the freedoms of assembly, expression, and the free media. Council demanded an immediate end to the violence in Libya and for the government to address the legitimate demands of the population. Arms embargo was imposed, travel ban, and asset freeze was imposed on individuals. That was 1970, and then we got 1973 resolution which demanded an immediate ceasefire and authorized the international community to establish a no-fly zone. At the time, let's look at the voting. The action was approved by Bosnia, Colombia, France, Gabon, Lebanon, Nigeria, Portugal, South Africa, United Kingdom, and United States. There were 5 countries abstaining, which were Brazil, China, Germany, India, and Russia. The resolution itself demanded immediate establishment of a ceasefire and a complete end to violence, imposed a no-fly zone, authorized all necessary measures to protect civilians and civilian population areas under threat of attack, strengthened arms embargo, particularly action against mercenaries. Yeah, Germany opposed it. Technically abstained. It didn't oppose it, it abstained. Merkel said Germany would not take part in the military operation. She said, "We unreservedly share the aims of this resolution. Our abstention should not be confused with neutrality." So I don't know, she was like, yeah, I'm against this, but like I'm okay with it. Why? Like for which reason? For which reason? African members of the Security Council condemned the actions of Libyan regime and they supported the text of the resolution. Nice. Fair. And then these 2 resolutions led to Operation Unified Protector, which was the NATO operation in 2011 in Libya. Started with a naval arms embargo while command of the no-fly zone, and the airstrikes against Libyan armed forces remained under command of the international coalition. Deployed forces. Was Croatia involved? No, not really. Not really. We didn't do too much. We didn't help too much. That's kind of sad. Military intervention in Libya. Gaddafi's forces didn't manage to shoot down a single NATO plane. Did you know that? Oh yeah, Croatia joined in 2009. That's true. I mean, this was 2011, right? We didn't really do much. We didn't really do too much. Enforcement. Do we know in which specific part of this they did like double taps? Do you know in which specific part of Libya they did double taps? Actions by other states. Military losses, aftermath. Like, you can find a list of civilian losses, but I'm not finding a criticism supposed to be mentioning, you know, double taps or whatever. UN Human Rights Council at the time concluded NATO conducted a highly precise campaign with a demonstrable determination to avoid civilian casualties. Human Rights Watch, take care of this. Human Rights Watch published a report claiming at least 72 civilians were killed. 72. Like, I don't know. I would love to know if you know, if you got any evidence of double tapping in Libya, let me know your evidence of double tapping in Libya, because I'm not really finding it. When I look at the list of strikes which did have some civilian casualties, I'm seeing interesting thing of like Libya claiming at one point Libya claiming where is it, the big one, 790 civilians were killed, and NATO being like, nah, like according to our intelligence and the fact we hit in like wee hours of the morning, it's impossible there were so many of them. Reminds me of those 500 civilians supposedly killed at the hospital bombing. Eleven. Let me see this. Short of demanding a utopian idealistic war, I'd say the bombing of Libya was pretty well done. It's still low as fuck. I would be... I'm not really finding anything. I'm finding they claimed 718 civilians. When was this? 31st May 2011, they claimed 718 civilians, and then they claimed these figures do not include Libyan military casualties, but the defense ministry refused to comment on this. And so it was the Gaddafi spokesman talking on this, but the defense ministry refused to say how many military was killed or wounded in the attacks at the time. So that's what I'm saying. So, you know, yeah, basically, if you know specific parts in Libya where supposedly double tapping was done, and you got at least some reports, even if it's from Libyan government from this, just like let me know, because I would love to see that. Because what I have experienced so far is that people will talk about NATO crimes, and then whenever I try to ask more into the specifics of supposed crimes, no one knows anything. It's like with bombing of Yugoslavia, you know, you go like, oh yo, cluster bombing of Yugoslavia was like war crime, and then we show to you that the convention wasn't even signed at the time, plus the convention doesn't make cluster bombing a war crime. And then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, let's switch over to Libya. And now it turns out you don't know shit about Libya, so I don't know what you were going to switch to next, but you were going to switch to another thing. You also have no idea of what you're talking about. It's how it always goes.
Go where? To the African continent.
Hey, Yama dude, how are you doing?
I kid you not, Ukrainian forces are present there fighting Wagnerites. And this is not just me talking. We have a drone footage of Ukrainian special forces doing a night raid operation.
By the way, I have to piss on your happiness right now, but the drone footage, last I've seen, the drone footage was unconfirmed. He stopped replying. It's because people like that, what they do is they come into your chat, they give you very basic, broad claims, they expect you to respond with very basic, broad claims. Their brain is rotten, and it exists in this like vague, anti-Western ideal, right? So he, in his first message, he said something like about NATO being the ultimate terrorist organization or whatever, right? He gives you this random ass point about NATO being the ultimate terrorist organization. What he is thinking you are going to respond is, no, actually, Russia is the ultimate terrorist organization. And then you will just like be fighting over these claims. You know, he will be sending you images of dead people that he will not be able to link to the proper source where he got these images. I'm supposed to be sending him images of dead people that I'm not supposed to link, and it's supposed to be, you know, a fight that's ongoing because two idiots are fighting with each other. You know that Twitter meme of like two retards fighting each other? That's basically what these types of people expect. When you demand actual evidence of anything they're claiming, they just crumble. They don't know. He doesn't know. I'm pretty sure he knows shit about Libya. He's going right now to Google where Libya is. Drone footage, I believe it was this one. No, I did see this like 2 days ago, I think. I don't know if anything changed in the meantime. When I first saw the news of this, it was published in the news as alleged drone footage. So all of them, when they were talking about this, when they had it in titles, it was alleged, it was supposed, it was unconfirmed yet, it was rumors are saying, was specifically in one of these articles. So I don't know how much confirmed this is. If we did get proper confirmation, I would love that. But, you know, if we didn't, be careful.
To eliminate a Wagnerite headquarters. Now, this entire thing was filmed by a night vision drone above, so it does look like Hollywood or a Call of Duty mission. Here you can see the Ukrainian drone filming and being eyes on the sky for Ukrainian special forces. It is happening during the night, and the fact that Ukrainian special forces are present in Sudan and they're able to pull off operations like this means that they have an insane logistical ally in the region. We cannot actually name who this ally is, but you can be sure Ukraine alone cannot send their special forces into Sudan and pull them out again. It needs a logistical chain, of powerful allies in the region. Especially if you know that Ukraine's special forces were able to put their drone up above, I'm sure they would have a quick response force ready if anything goes south. Now the latter part of this video I cannot show because it's a lot of explosions. This was a successful elimination of Wagner headquarters but the fact that Ukrainian Special Forces, which are part of Ukrainian intelligence SBU, are able to do this on African continent shows the scale of Ukrainian alliances in the world. This is incredible. Now I want to show you a photo of the division of African countries. With red, these are the countries that have been known and confirmed countries with Russian interventions. This symbol is recent coup d'etats, and we of course know Niger was one, Mali was another one. All these coups happened in the last 10 years. And of course, PMC Wagner presence is in 5 countries, but actually it's more. And then there's the Blue ECOWAS alliance. As you can see, Russia is deep in Africa, intertweened with local politics.
Don't think about
so
great.
is China. So if this
With clusters and double tapping.
which I say it is, we have the bloc of Russia
Was
and
niche
China
double
rooting
tapped?
themselves in African internal politics and military alliances. Now we jump again for a moment into Israel, where IDF forces have continued their mission into Gaza. They have actually surrounded the Gaza city and have taken control of another Hamas checkpoint. Now in these Hamas checkpoints and strong points, a lot of weaponry is found, and it's not only small arms and ammunition, it is also anti-tank guided munitions, drones, artillery shells, droppable munitions, grenades, everything you can imagine. They come from Iran and also Russia. Let's talk about the numbers for a moment for this entire operation in Gaza. Confirmed, the KIA number is about 10,000. And it could be higher because this is only confirmed. Right now, it doesn't include the latest attacks. In Israel, in the country, from October 7th, the confirmed KIA toll is about 1,400. Around 70% of Gaza's 2.3 million residents have fled their homes since the start of the hostilities from October 7th. The IDF reported that from the start of the ground invasion into Gaza, about 30 Israeli troops have been KIA. Hamas and other Iranian-backed militant groups have continued firing.
Alright. I could give plenty of legit evidence, claims about fucked up shit US has done. Could point out US bombing of an Iraqi hospital in Baghdad during Desert Storm based on bad intel. Could bring up US putting Cubans back into the Spanish concentration camps during the occupation. Oh yeah. The country is accused NATO of intentional war crimes. I think the situation is that extreme claims are what gets you attention on social media. So you have to make very extreme claims, because if you make these relatively softish claims, you know, how to say, you have to pick a supervillain, basically. You have to pick a supervillain. And you can't make NATO a supervillain based on the things that you mentioned, because these are the same crimes that you could attribute to other players on the world stage, right? Like, it's not true that, for example, you could say NATO did these things, but USA, okay, specifically USA in the situation, USA did these things, so USA is worse than any other country in the world, but any other one could be having war crimes with similar effect. So what you need to do is you need to imagine a supervillain who is doing war crimes constantly and everywhere and never getting punishment, right? So that's why they make, you know, claims of NATO doing intentional war crimes in Yugoslavia. Because NATO needs to be a supervillain. They can't be like, oh yeah, well, NATO went into Niš and they bombed this parking spot in Niš for no reason. Why did they do that? Was it bad intel? Fuck you, NATO, fuck you. They can't do that, because when you say that, it's like, NATO is not a supervillain in that situation, right? They're kind of shitty as an organization. They don't have proper information on what they're doing. But, like, are they a supervillain in your story? Are they worse than everyone else combined? No, they're not. No, they're not. It's too soft of a claim. You need to actually make something dramatic. So they make up this bullshit and then they embarrass themselves. Who would claim Gaddafi was a good guy? You would be surprised how many people online believe that Gaddafi was supposed to create a Pan-African alliance. There is the idea. He wanted to create a Pan-African alliance with their own currency that would overpower the dollar. And this is why NATO went and killed him. Because they were afraid of his currency overpowering dollar. Completely ignoring the state of Africa itself at the time. But yeah, that's the idea. So,
באזור הפארק. הפארק, איפה שהיה הפארק. רואים את המתקנים. מבנה ששומר עלינו. גלגל נהג. שפה. היה פה אזור ישיבה לילדים.
Well, like, actually? How the fuck?
אפילו בתוך הרכב יש לנו פה מנהרה. שימו לב. ממש מנהרה בתוך הרכב.
Oh, nice.
מובילה לכל מיני מקומות בתוך המתחם. חבר'ה, ממש טירוף. בואו רגע נצא נראה את המתחם מבחוץ. אתם רואים את הרכב הזה? אפילו בתוך הרכב
I didn't see that coming.
יש לנו פה מנהרה. שימו לב. ממש מנהרה בתוך הרכב. והמנהרה הזאת בעצם מובילה לכל מיני מקומות בתוך המתחם. חבר'ה.
Oh, that is genius. Oh, that is genius, actually. That's very fucking smart. Come on, like, you wouldn't see this shit. You wouldn't notice this shit if you were passing on the street. Oh, my man. Holy crap. How do you even fight against that? You're gonna... What, it's gonna take you, like, hours to go through every city you manage to get in, and then to check every fucking destroyed car in it, just in case it's an entrance to an underground tunnel. Oh, what's this? Filipenko. RIP. RIP. A car carrying deputy of the People's Council of LPR was blown up. Oh no! A good Russian. Fuck him. Fuck him, fuck him. Someone sent these news to Elon, by the way. Someone sent these news to Elon next time he tries to be bitching about there being no Ukrainian partisans on occupied grounds. Someone remind him. Someone just remind him. Imagine they would have put all this money to give the people of Gaza a better life. Bro, even if... It's such a stupid thing, because even if they didn't want to give people of Gaza a better life, okay? Even if they wanted to create these tunnels and they wanted to have a shitload of tunnels around so they could, you know, have somewhere to hide when Israelis expectedly respond to terrorist attacks, because they must respond to terrorist attacks, right? A country must respond to that. But the fact they haven't made a single fucking shelter in those tunnels, the fact you're just leaving the civilians up there, you could have created shelters. You could have made shelters for them. You could have saved civilians, at least some of them, at least a part of them if you gave a single shit. You're already digging tunnels left and right. Why not create a shelter? Come on. Like, how hard would it be for you to do that? How fucking hard would it be for you to do that? But no. No. We're just not going to even pretend to give a shit about them. What a stupid goddamn thing. All they had to do was not attack Israel. Oh yeah, that's too. But like, I'm trying to come from the assumption of like them absolutely going in for an attack, because I don't believe they would not attack, you know. But like when they did the attack, they knew Israel is going to respond, right? They knew Israel is going to respond. They knew Israel has to respond to this. Any country has to respond to this. Like if your country right now, who's your neighbor you're having a fight against? If your neighboring country right now, the government of your neighboring country, regardless of how democratically the government was chosen, let's say we get attacked by fucking Hungarians, right? Because the democracy in Hungary is shit. If Hungarian government sends terrorists into Croatia right now, they go into a part of our land. They kill a bunch of civilians, they parade their dead bodies around, they took a bunch of hostages, they go back to Hungary. Do you think Croatia would be able to survive as a country if we don't respond? No country would be able to survive if they don't respond. You must respond to something like this happening on your soil. It's not even a question, you must respond. The way Israel is responding can be criticized, but the fact they responded, they have to respond. Any country would have to respond. Yeah, I'm pretty sure civilians are not really... Not even that they're not allowed to go in, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to go in there. It will get way too crowded. It doesn't seem to be civilian ready when you've seen what little we've seen of footage from these tunnels in the first place. But what you've seen from the footage of these tunnels, I'm pretty sure it's not like you can fit civilians there. I'm pretty sure a bunch of civilians cannot be going there. Especially if Hamas is attempting to still have any sort of military operations done from these tunnels. They could be both civilian and military. Yeah, I think they're not civilian. That's my entire problem. I think they're not creating them for civilians to be in. I think they're not creating them to save civilians. I would respond by whining at Twitter. Oh yeah, or that. No, it's a goddamn stupid thing. Where like, well, I think it's okay to condemn the amount of civilian casualties that Israel is causing at Gaza. It's absolutely something to be criticized, right? At the same time, they had to respond to this. If a government doesn't respond to a terrorist attack on its own ground, the government doesn't deserve to be existing anymore. The country itself doesn't deserve to be existing. If you can't protect your civilians from a threat like this, if you can't ensure that they can be safe, then, you know, can you even like exist? You can't.
Rockets into Israeli territory daily ever since October the 7th. And since Israel has a very strong ally in the form of the United States has now reacted. CENTCOM from the United States reported the arrival of an Ohio-class nuclear submarine in the Middle East region. This represents a clear deterrence towards Iran. In general, the current...
Why don't we get this? I demand this. I demand this. Where's this? Why are we not getting this? I want this. Send this into the lands of Crimea. Lands itself, like put it on the shore so Russians don't dare to come close. Why don't we get one of these? Come on. Respond on day one by killing the attackers and hunting down a ton of them. The problem is a lot of them went back, plus carried hostages with them. I want a coastline. I want a coastline. I want to be protecting the coastline. Okay? Ha! Listen. You know why Croatia took a bunch of coastline there? I actually have a reason right now. It's to kick the Serbs out. Okay? We are doing our glorious thing as part of the international organization where we are like enemy countries will not have access to the coastline, okay? Do you see Hungary having access to the coastline here? No, you don't. Do you see Serbia having access to the coastline here? No, you don't. We gave Bosnia a tiny little pinch because they're kinda a friendly country and kinda not. Okay? Well, now Russia is trying to claim a bunch of coastline. We're not happy with that. So we should be supporting every attempt to take as much coastline from them as possible. Turkey won't let us send it. Why are we not bullying the shit out of Turkey? Who allowed Turkey to make any decisions? Who the fuck allowed Turkey to make any decisions? Just, you know, do it anyways. Who's asking them? Who's asking Turkey? Oh yeah, Gaza is very densely populated. That is true. Gaza is very, very densely populated. Israel told the people of Gaza to move south. Hamas doesn't let the people to move. I do think that the whole thing with like telling people to move is I think it was a way to claim to not be as responsible for civilian casualties, but like they knew it was pretty unrealistic to move that huge of an amount of people. Right? They knew it was quite unrealistic, especially when it comes to the amount of communication they can have into Gaza. I think there was a bit of a play. Like, come on. It's not like you can chunk all civilians in this part of the country. That's the first problem. It's not like you can chunk all civilians in this part. But the second problem is that how the fuck do you know there's no Hamas there? How do you know there's no Hamas going with civilians into the south? I'm still kind of like confused on what the entire purpose of that was. Because let's say hypothetically, let's say that like most of the civilians have went to the south of Gaza, right? Most of the people of Gaza went to the south. How would you know? How the fuck would you know if Hamas members went with them or not? You know, it's not like they are recognizable. How would you know? You don't fucking know. It's a weird little thing. I genuinely think they did it just to feign some sort of complicity with international law. Like, guys, we're not trying to kill civilians. We told the civilians to move. Like, first of all, no, they're not all going to move. How many people you think can afford to leave everything behind? Do you think, the South has enough refugee centers for them? How many refugee centers do you think it has to have? The population density in Gaza is crazy. Where? How are all of these people supposed to live while you're doing your little anti-terrorist operation? Plus, then again, you're not really ensuring no Hamas members live there. You're telling civilians to leave, Hamas hears it, and they're like, yeah, let's just go to the south. So they just go to the south. I don't know. The whole thing just seems like a little play to have an excuse. So when people are like, oh yeah, Israel is actually killing a lot of civilians, they can go, no, we told them to move. Like, killing Hamas is their stated goal, but it's impossible to complete. Yeah, definitely. To destroy military targets. I see destruction of military targets. I see that as one goal I could see Israel is attempting to do. So it's less about destroying Hamas as Hamas, and it's more about destroying their infrastructure, destroying their weaponry, destroying everything they have that they could be using for an attack, right? I could see that. It's not going to destroy Hamas, and they will likely manage to, do more terrorist attacks in the future unless we figure out a way to create some sort of peace in the region. But I can see them actually destroying the physical. IDF is 100% okay with shooting a civilian to hit a terrorist behind them at this point. On one hand, I think there's some level of acceptable excuses when it comes to that. I think for a lot of situations, like when we talk about the refugee center bombing recently, right? They claim they had to bomb the refugee center because a Hamas official was there, but they can't confirm they got the Hamas official. Like, it seems more that they're okay with just shooting at areas that might have Hamas officials in them. They're okay with shooting a bunch of civilians to maybe hit a terrorist. That's what it seems like. They're okay with killing a bunch of civilians to maybe hit a terrorist, but also maybe not. IDF is 100% okay. Oh wait, I saw that. Israel admitted they're gonna occupy North Gaza. Yeah, it was. Fuck, wait, it was sent to the Discord, right? I think I read this on our Discord. Where did I see this? Oh, here it is. Israel is set to maintain the security control in Gaza indefinitely after the war. So yeah, it's basically occupation. Looks like you're using a ad blocker. Yes, I am. Fuck off. Come on, YouTube fixes this and now I can't read fucking Times of Israel. PM acknowledges some responsibility for October 7th fiasco in an interview with ABC News. hints at flexibility on humanitarian pauses in fighting. Oh. Social security responsibility of the Gaza Strip for some time after its war. Okay, so for some time, he says. Indefinite period? Yeah, it just means the continuing occupation, doesn't it? Members of the ruling party have made some crazy statements. Yeah, definitely. There's been some very, very strong statements made, which definitely I think should be condemned strongly by the international community. Absolutely. Hey, Ozwanki. 1,400 dead Israelis, followed by 10,000 dead Palestinians. It's a fucked up situation. I do think, though, that the number of dead is not an accurate way to gauge who is on the right side. But absolutely, Israel is not doing their best to minimize the amount of civilian casualties. I don't even know what they can be doing, though, to be fair. I'm not even sure what they can be doing. It's a fucked up thing. Sup, Slippers, how is life? How is everything? We watched a video when we were starting the stream. Let me show you. I don't know where it is. It was on how Romania and Poland are going to be leading Europe in the future. Oh. Someone in power says some crazy shit. It's not crazy shit. He got the means to do it. His words have weight. And yeah, it's important to acknowledge, though, that in most democratic countries you will have a bunch of politicians and a bunch of them will be saying their own crazy shit that they don't necessarily represent the actual foreign policy or domestic policy of the nation in question, right? So, for example, right, I've seen people quoting the words of our president to claim that Croatia is pro-Russian. We're not. We align with every single European Union vote on this. We are NATO members. We're not pro-Russian. In no sort of a way are we fucking pro-Russian. We have an idiot leading us, that is true, but we are not pro-Russian people. So I think that's important to acknowledge. You know, it's like there's lots of opinions that exist. The fact they are present in the government itself is the problem, of course. It's like how it's a problem that Claire Daly and Wallace are allowed to be members of European Union Parliament. They don't necessarily represent the views of European Union Parliament as a whole, but their existence, the fact that they are tolerated, is a problem, and it shows a greater problem in the organization. In the same way, extremist people in Israeli government, the fact that they are allowed to say stuff like that and they are tolerated while saying this stuff is a problem. It doesn't necessarily show the actual foreign policy, domestic policy plan on what Israel is attempting to do. So I think it's important to understand that. Heard about the drinks recently? The poison water? Yes, guys, Croatians are being poisoned by Coca-Cola. I don't know if you've heard about this. Not Coca-Cola, actually, Romequel. R-O-M-M-R? Q-U-E-L-L-E? Is this how you write it? I never know how you write it. Coca-Cola is making this fancy water thing. And there were people in Croatia who got, so far I know of, one confirmed case of heavy damage, plus 2 possible cases. I don't know if they got confirmed. But basically, in the factory where they were filling these bottles, it was specifically, I think, the blue one. They have forgotten to properly wash out some sort of chemical that they use, and it ended up in the drink itself. So, don't drink water. Drink beer instead. This never happened to beer drinkers. I swear to God, I've never heard of someone drinking Heineken and then just burning their entire digestive system. Drink Heineken instead. That Putin guy, sure, he's the president, but he's just talking crazy. I think it would be more akin to Simonyan. I think that it would be akin to Simonyan, right? You know how Simonyan was like, we're going to bomb Siberia. We're going to take a nuke and we're going to drop it over Siberia. You know, like the fact Russian Federation awarded journalist is allowed to say this is a problem. The fact she is tolerated is a problem. The fact she has her TV show still, after making this threat to people of Russian Federation, shows a problem in the system. However, the fact she says that nuking Siberia seems like a good idea doesn't mean that the internal policy of Russia is that nuking Siberia would be a good idea. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's important to know what the system tolerates because you see deeper problems within the system, but also let's not pretend like it is actually the policy. Likud and Netanyahu got emergency powers. Can't even oust them from government if they wanted to. Yeah, there's definitely big conversations about the power that Netanyahu is grabbing for himself and how hard it's going to be to take away this power from him. He is definitely a very, very, very harmful person in the political scene currently. Absolutely. Long-term solution is two-state solution, but no way how we get there at this point. I've actually looked at the last... Yeah, oh, no, you can't talk with Hamas, definitely. But like the last time they tried to implement the two-state solution, I didn't even know about this issue until recently. But the way Israel defines the West Bank... Hey, Bratik, thank you for the subby, thank you. Oh, Slippers, thank you. Thank you. The way Israel defines the West Bank and the way Palestine defines the West Bank are different. Thank you! Hey, Slippers, my man, how are you doing? Were you on Dylan's stream yesterday? I wasn't able to catch it. I went to sleep. It was his last stream, I think, before going to Eastern Ukraine for the last time this year. Thank you! Slippers, do you have enough money to live? Slippers, do you have enough money to live? Slippers, do you have enough cash money to buy beer? Please buy beer, don't buy water. Okay, the water is poisonous. Water is poisonous. Water has acid in it and it will make you go dead. Fuck, I forgot where I was. That's why English drank only beer and wine for about 100 years. Yeah, based. Oh yeah, the two-state solution. Yeah. They don't... Basically, the big problem was the definition of what West Bank territories are. Another problem was the fact that Israel has settlements on the West Bank. So it's like, what do we do with these? You buy Monster? Based. Same. Did you know they are fucking horrible for you? You know Biljana Borzan. I simp for Biljana Borzan. Biljana Borzan is the best European Union Parliament member that Croatia will ever be able to produce. Never again in the future of our nation will we be able to bring someone this useful to international politics. So she is the one who has actually pushed for a law so Eastern Europeans have the same quality of produce as Western Europeans. She was the one who demanded, for example, there was the baby food issue specifically. Baby food in Eastern Europe was shit quality compared to baby food in Western Europe. It was marked the same, it was branded the same, the cost was, aligned to countries' economy the same. But we go to the shit version, they go to the good version. Biljana Borzan is the one you have to thank for fixing this. She is the one who also worked on European Union resolution to ban there's a word for this, and I never know what's the word for this, but like when you buy an appliance, sometimes there's a set amount of time in which the appliance will break. Like you buy a new TV, it's going to get fucked in a specified amount of time, so you have to buy a new one. Biljana Borzan is the person you have to thank for not allowing this anymore to be done in European Union. She is the one who has pushed that you have to be able to buy replacement parts for these appliances on the market, so they can't force you to just buy a whole new appliance. They must offer you replacement parts if a specific engineered obsolescence, holy shit, that's a long word, but yeah, that one. They must offer you replacement parts on the market, so they can't just force you to go and buy the entire appliance itself. That also. So basically, Biljana is absolutely based. But she recently started talking about a law to prohibit selling energy drinks to kids. Hey, yo! Timo Random, thank you so much. Slippers, thank you so much. You're the best person ever. I hope you know that. But okay. Our fellow Slav, to our 5-year guarantee. Yes, you have a guarantee. The problem is that after the guarantee would be out, they would break. So they would be like, oh yeah, a 5-year guarantee, and in approximately 5 years, the device would actually fucking break, right? So then the guarantee is just done. The appliance breaks, you have to buy a new one. So every 5 years, you have to buy a new one. She's the one who was like, no, this is unacceptable. Like, this can't be done. It's creating way too much trash. It's creating way too much overconsumption. This is not fucking needed in a modern society. We cannot tolerate this bullshit. So yeah, she's calling for energy drinks to be prohibited for children. She did quite an effective campaign recently in which she was like, oh, hey parents, would you allow your kid to drink a Turkish coffee, a big Turkish coffee with 4 spoonfuls of sugar in it? You wouldn't allow your kid to drink that. Well then why the fuck are they drinking Monster drinks? Because it's the same shit basically. So I think she may be getting some support over that. I do support her as much as I love Monster drinks. I support her because I simp for her. Whatever Biljana says, I'm going to be supporting, I'm going to be rooting for. The second she starts planning some referendums or voting or whatever the fuck, we are getting full into lobbying for her. I love this. I love this woman so much. I would give both to my nieces and nephews to fuck over my brother. No, you know what you need to do in that situation? Listen, I've got professional insight on this. Buy them one of those children's music equipment sets. Buy them one of those. You know those like little, what's the word? Little like guitars for kids or whatever the fuck, something like that, but they have a whole set for a whole band. Get them that. Get them that shit, okay? They will never stop being loud. The parents will never get sleep. It's a horrible gift to parents. I swear to God, every single parent I know hates these things. It's one of those that like you see your kids have gotten for Christmas and you hate that thing and you hate the person who gave you the thing. So buy those.
This environment should not support a scenario in which Iran wants to gradually escalate a war initiated by Hamas in the Middle East to the point of a large
Doggo Cam? Doggo is being babysat.
Very much aware of United States military power and
Drums is a word.
If provoked. If the United States were to be provoked, the outcome for Iran would be disastrous. The United States right now has behaved in a way not to provoke Iran in any way. The United States officials are stating that they are there on a defensive purpose towards Israel, not offensive purpose towards Iran. If this changes, it's very bad news for Iran. Iranian leaders know this, and they're playing on a thin balance not to cross that line, because there are a lot of juicy targets in Iran that the United States could easily bombard if they would feel provoked enough. Iran.
By the way, I just wanted to point out now that we're talking about kids being insufferable. Get them into SpongeBob. I do not know a single child who did not get ruined at least for a while after watching SpongeBob. There's something in that TV show, I don't know what it is, I don't know what's wrong with it. every single kid who watches SpongeBob turns absolutely insufferable. The amount of energy they have is impossible to handle. The amount of stupid ass jokes they will be making is something you can't tolerate it in your presence. I don't know what is wrong with SpongeBob, but it makes kids horrible. So if you want to make your brother suffer, just like download a bunch of SpongeBob cartoons on DVDs, give them to his kids. He's snoring so loud, I hear it with earphones. Oh no! My dog does the thing, she doesn't snore when she sleeps, but she does fart. And she will do a thing where she like farts. She sleeps on the inside sometimes. She basically can choose. She's a spoiled little fucker. She sleeps inside, she farts in her sleep, she gets awoken by the smell of her own farts. She demands to be let out. And then everyone else in the house is like left to be choked. It's a torture method. She's horrible for that. We actually asked the veterinarian, we were like, why? Is there an issue with her? Like, why is she doing this so much? And he was like, no, it's normal for dogs to fart, like every once in a while. There's really nothing you can do. You can buy her some fancy dog food to try and minimize the smell. But like she's eating proper dog food already. It's not like we're feeding her, you know, trash or whatever. She's eating proper dog food. We buy actual good brands and everything. There's not really an issue with her digestive system. She's just a piece of shit. Got a toy guitar for birthday, and when it broke for some reason it wasn't fixed. I got a toy. It wasn't a toy, it was like a proper synthesizer, the big one that you could play. And they told me it broke. What actually happened is that it had a charger and it had the battery. And they hid the charger. So when the battery ran out, I was a stupid kid, I didn't know it worked on batteries. They were like, oh, it broke. Like there's no way to charge it because the charger is not existing, because it's just supposed to work forever the way it is. And only like recently did I look at the box and I was like, bro, this the fuck? It was good all of this time. They just fucking hid it from me. Team hitch to her ass, man. Just sleep outdoors. Sometimes I'm like, she does the thing. We taught her to be driving in the car with us. She farts in the car. Like inside the car. A tiny little vehicle. We have a tiny little car. She farts in the tiny little car. It's like, it's a torture method. It's a fucking Geneva Convention breaking.
Knows this and they're playing the balance. Now the Ohio-class nuclear submarine USS Florida is armed with 154 Tomahawk missiles. These 154 missiles alone could wreak havoc on Iranian militant groups and Iran itself. Since the nuclear submarine is now very close to Iran as a country, Iranian leaders are careful to take any further decisions or escalate this.
You can't hold your fart for a week.
These Tomahawks are aimed and ready to be launched. With the coming of winter, Russia and Ukraine both have plans to disrupt the other side's logistics and attack the other side's electrical and water infrastructure.
Ecological catastrophe.
The experience of winter of 2022, where Russia decimated about 50% of entire Ukrainian electrical production. Now Ukraine can hit back because their drone conglomerate and military production conglomerate Ukroboronprom has reported that they have started a serial production of their newest drone with a range of 1,000 kilometers. Now, I remember reporting about the development of that drone in the winter of 2022 when it was only making test flights. Now it is in serial production, meaning if Russia
you can hold it for a week. It's not recommended.
Ukraine can answer in the same way because there are a lot of big Russian cities in the reach of 1,000 kilometers from Ukrainian cities. So Russia has a lot to lose by bombarding Ukrainian civilians now. This 1,000 kilometers also includes the Russian capital, Moscow. Let's not forget that. Starting mass production of any kind of drone is mostly about logistics, and on this video you can see Ukrainians mass producing these drones. These are mostly these small 3D printed drones, but you can already see it requires very specific metal parts, very specific munitions, rotors, and they have to be acquired in big quantities. Ukrainians have dispersed the production across the country, so the production facilities could not be bombarded. They're not bunched together like they used to be before the war. These locations, of course, are secret, but you can see these munitions and the covers of them are all 3D printed. Ukrainian military intelligence reported that according to their data, Russia has now managed.
Holding in a fart for too long can cause the gas to be reabsorbed into your circulatory system and exhaled through your breath, which can be unpleasant. What the fuck? How do you know that's true? Do you have experience with it? How do you know that's true? What did you? You're burping farts? Yeah, disgust. Do they smell like farts? Or do they smell like burps? From experience, what do they smell like? Does it smell like... Do you feel the burp or do you feel the fart?
Stockpile 870 different ballistic.
Why do you have experience?
Used to attack the entire territory.
What were you doing?
And the civilian electrical and water infrastructure.
Was it one of those things where like you're at a funeral or something and you have to fart but you can't? Is that what it is? Queefs? No, queefs come from the different end. Queefs come from the different hole. If your burps smell like queefs, that's not fart reabsorbed.
Like before the winter of 2022. Talking about the winter of 2022, about every 2 weeks, Russia made a huge attack with missiles and drones. We're talking close to 100 missiles.
Oh my man, horrible.
To Ukrainian cities. And Ukraine reported back then that Russia has about 1,000 missiles for this winter. But the number is similar now. So what we can expect coming from Ukraine
it was him.
in December is a huge exchange of drones.
Blame the priest.
Across border, electrical and water infrastructure. Now, my friends, we jump into the United States with news. And this, I gotta say, I get Florida man vibes when I read these news, but I want to share it with you. Indiana woman allegedly crashes on purpose into what she thought.
What sort of funerals do you go to?
In the incident, an Indiana woman named Ruba Almakeh, age 34, was arrested after allegedly crashing her car into what she believed was a Jewish school. However, it was later revealed that the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, the target of her actions, is not a pro-Jewish organization, but an extremist group that is anti-Israel. Thankfully, no one was injured in the incident. She admitted upon her arrest that she had been watching the news, felt overwhelmed, and made reference to the people in Palestine. This is why I include humor on my channel. Watching the news, always negative, dramatic, sad, claiming your empathetic energy. This is why people get warfare.
Bro, if that happens in my family, it's going on their tombstone. Dick so huge, they had to break it to fit into a coffin. That's going on the fucking tombstone. Beloved father, brother, to whoever the fuck it is in the family, and then down it goes, dick so huge. They had to break it to be able to fit into the coffin. That's going to be on their immortal soul forever. They go up to Jesus. Jesus is like, let me see who is signed on your tombstone to see who raised it for you. And there's just going to be a huge mention of their dick being humongous. Man. Angel's Lust. Oh shit. Oh, that's a very pretty name for a post-mortem boner. Very pretty name. Very, very lovely name.
Fatigue, they get tired, they switch it off, they get apathetic. This is why we need humor to make it light. I know it seems wrong for some people, but this is the only way to cover these horrible events long term and not to get you tired and not to get me tired. You need humor and I need humor. It's a coping mechanism. We all need it.
So I need to mock this woman.
By the news, she was consuming it too
Fair.
much. It was too damn dark. Couldn't handle it. drove her car into what she thought was a pro-Jewish school. The Western media, for some reason, is copying Russian propaganda narratives, like the West is war fatigued and don't
Coffin
want
is
to
like,
support
"Wait."
anymore. And the Western media is picking up on this. Now, I don't know why. What's the goal of the Western media? Is it clicks? Is it views? Or is it money from any Russian oligarch? But I'm here to report the truth to you.
All of it.
Ursula von der Leyen, the European Commission president, held a speech in Brussels yesterday that was significantly more strategic in a tone than
Just like it
usual
breaks through the wood.
regarding objectives towards Ukraine. Given that the audience consisted of representatives of the European Union in other countries, the speech can be considered a political guidance for them. The president of the European Commission quite conventionally mentioned that the goal for the Ukraine is, and this is very important, is a lasting and just peace. Not peace in Ukraine, that's not the goal. The goal is a long-term peace and just peace. But she also provided much more precise content to this formulation, because usually these European leaders, they say, oh, peace in Ukraine. What does it mean? It doesn't mean end the fighting and Russian forces stay in Ukraine. It means something completely different. She stated that it must be a real peace that ends the war, not a ceasefire that would actually mean a frozen conflict, which is what actually Russia wants. Long-term peace means that Ukraine receives long-term security guarantees. This means Ukrainian accession into NATO and the European Union. And I fully stand behind this. Furthermore, von der Leyen noted that the Ukrainian military must be properly built up. And this includes, among other things, increasing the capacity of the European defense industry. Very important. European countries are sleeping. We have an aggressive neighbor who wants our land. That's the most simple truth of it. Russians want our land. They want to occupy us. Simple as that. Now, to do against it, European Union countries need to wake up and wake up their military production. They have the capacity and potential, but they have not chosen it yet because they're lazy or war fatigued. And finally, the president of the European Commission believes that the best guarantee of stability and success for Ukraine is full membership into the European Union.
Stop the
I
freckling.
like this speech, I stand by it, and I do believe we need Ukraine in NATO and in the EU, and that is the only way to stand up to Russia.
I didn't want to pause in the middle of his speech, but that was a good joke. Stop the fracking because you reached us. No, I wanted to tell you. First of all, when you think about ghosts out there wandering around with boners, think about poor ghosts out there walking around with broken boners because they couldn't fit into the coffin. But also another thing to think about. Did you know that, don't know how many of you are women there, probably not a big amount. I imagine some of you as women because you have pink usernames very often, but I'm pretty sure none of you are women. But if you're a woman and if you die with your tampon still inside, when you get into the crematorium, it just stays in. It stays in. If the autopsy is done, when the autopsy is done, they will likely remove it. But if you just go into the crematorium without the autopsy done beforehand, they will not remove it. You will be walking around as a soul up there in heaven with a tampon in for forever. For forever. So yeah, now... Yeah. That's not really a fun fact, but now you know it. I learned it actually. There's really good accounts. There's an amazing account. She used to be posting on TikTok for a while. She is a mortician. She actually works with corpses, but she does very respectable videos, which is something that I can actually watch them. There's a lot of morticians trying to do these videos, and some of them seem really disrespectful, and they oh my man, there's like a level of discourse that I think is okay to have when it comes to the way these people handle corpses, because it does, it does help you understand the reality of the situation. But my man, when they crack jokes and everything, it's a horrible thing. But one of them is actually doing proper videos, and in one of them she explained that, if the autopsy is done, when the autopsy is done, they remove everything. So whatever you might have, they will remove it. But if the autopsy is not done, usually no one will even look to check if you have a tampon in. So you're just going to be stuck with it. Sucks to be you. But usually, if there's a way to calm you, usually the autopsy will be done, because if you're a woman in the age where you still have to wear a tampon, that likely means your death was somewhat suspicious and they will need to do an autopsy. So, you know, at least they need to figure out what happened. It's not like you just died of old age. Last woman left after that boner coma. Oh. Managed to find the nearest dead person.
And now, my friends,
dildo that went too deep. Ooh.
the United States of America, and if you want...
Have you guys seen that Reddit story about a person who had the butt plug when they were going to get that scan in the hospital, and basically the metals pulled the butt plug into their intestines, damaged a bunch of shit inside. Because it has metals in it, it has little metal balls in it. They didn't know, they thought it was silicone. The outside of it is silicone, but the inside of it is actually metal balls. So now you know it. If you carry butt plugs around, do make sure to take them out when you're at the doctor's office, maybe. Cut the penis of a dead man and put it inside of someone's sandwich as a prank. That sounds like something very, very fucking illegal. That sounds like something that I would never speak to the med student about ever again. CT or MRI? Yeah, true. Don't take butt plugs. Take them out. I know it's hard for you people. I know you're used to it. I know, I understand. It's Twitch chat's way of finding purpose in living. But please, okay? For a few minutes, you can afford it. Stupid theory about a Hamas attack. Please let me know. Let me know. I've seen one recently. It was actually Israelis doing it, because none of the Hamas people have Hamas military gear, which is apparently a supposed military gear that exists, and is specifically Hamas military gear. And they were like, oh yeah, well, if you look at the outfits they're wearing, none of them actually have like Hamas, symbols on them. So what if they're not Hamas? What if they're actually Israelis? Like, you have to remove the pacifier. If someone had it before cremation, because it could blow up the oven. Holy shit! Hamas? Hamas? Yeah, I definitely condemn Hamas and their terrorist attack, absolutely. I think it's inexcusable to go to a country and kill a bunch of civilians and then take a bunch of civilians hostage. Absolutely an inexcusable action. Israel has the right to respond. At the same time, Israeli response is not really too careful about the amount of civilian casualties they are causing. And I believe we as international community should demand Israel to take better care and to basically save as many Palestinian civilians as possible. I don't think they're doing that. I don't think they're too good at doing that. Theory is that they did it on October 7th as a birthday gift for Putin to take away the attention from Ukraine versus Russia war. Oh, damn. Oh, damn. I disagree with the theory, but I would retweet it around. Simply because I am fucking salty about the fact Israelis dared to be offended at Putin's government hosting Hamas leadership recently. That was such a stupid move. That was such a stupid fucking move. Oh, how could Russia do this to us? How could Russia betray us? Bro, Russia doesn't give a shit about you. How stupid are you in the year 2023 to be trusting Russia and to be surprised they're working with terrorists? How stupid are you? I'm genuinely salty about that. I'm salty about that. I'm still salty about that. Well, we didn't expect Russia is going to betray us. How the fuck did you not? That one of Israeli officials doing that whole little rant interview where he was like, oh yeah, well, we got betrayed. Now we see what Russia really is. Now you see? You didn't see before, you piece of shit? Now you see? Come on. This is bullshit. There's just absolute stupidity. I'm so salty over that. It's like they were absolutely blind and choosing to be blind until now. I'm angry over it. They announced their main objective is genocide. Some of their officials did make claims, but no, the official the official policy of Israel is not that their stated objective is genocide of people in Gaza. That is not true. People don't know how bad it is before it becomes personal. Yeah, that's true. I'm still salty over it, my man. I'm still fucking salty over it. I don't know. I'm angry. It reminds me of Serbians recently, because they allowed a lot of Russians to come into Serbia, right? And then recently, they were angry because Serbian government has introduced a legislation to make these Russians able to get Serbian citizenship faster, right? So all of the sudden, Serbs were like, well, actually, I don't know if I want all of these Russians to be getting the citizenship. This seems like a bad decision. Like, what? You were GG with them all this time? You were GG with them all for years, while they were coming into your country, but now, suddenly, when they're getting your citizenship, now you're worried? Now you're worried about their effect on your politics? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Okay? I don't take it seriously. I don't take any of this little late recognition of Russian danger seriously. It's just bullshit. We are on the same side, Mr. Putin. Yeah, basically, it's almost like that. Oh, Putin is going to defend us because we both are trying to do bombing of civilians. And then Putin is like, oh, Hamas, I support you because you are the anti-West side here. And Israel is like, I actually thought I can trust Russians. Why can I not trust Russians? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, until they give Ukraine proper military equipment, until we get some sort of air raid defense systems or whatever for Israel, I'm not trusting a word these fuckers say, okay? They woke up to the reality of Russian danger way too late. I don't trust a word they say.
Watching there, you might be surprised, why do I jump into your country with news? Well, I do. Maybe you're from the area also. There are activists in Tacoma, Washington, holding out on the
USA,
docks
USA.
to make sure a weapons shipment to Israel does not make it.
And this protest?
These guys are literally just boats trying to
Is it this
stop
one?
weapons shipments into Israel. Now again, if you're from the area, please let me know in the comments. It would be so cool to talk to somebody.
Yeah. Give us the laser Iron Dome and I might start trusting you again. Until we get that.
Recently, I visited the residence of the United States ambassador to Estonia, George Kent. Now, he is a wonderful speaker. He has charisma, he can vocalize very well, and I really enjoyed the visit.
Oh, look at his little bow tie.
And photos like this and events like this in my life,
Little
I
fucking...
always show them in my Instagram. So go and follow me, link is in the description below. I might become...
That's a unit! He's standing a bit closer to the camera, right? That man's a unit! Look at all of these people, look at this man, holy shit! Okay.
US, who knows? And then I'm posting everything in my Instagram. But now, my friends, I want to thank the
7.2? Wait, what's that in normal measurements? I don't know what that is in normal. 7 foot 2 inches in centimeters. That man's a unit. $218? Receding hairline 93. Hey, yo, Arthur, is that you? 218? Man's huge. Man is huge. Holy shit, that is horrifying. Imagine starting a war with Estonia and just this man fucking comes to fight you. It's not 7.2. How much is it? Do you know how much it is? I have no idea. Fuck, now I'm interested how big he actually is. Fucking Titan. He looks like a fucking Titan already. Rehi? Please be in normal measurements. Sports person? He's not a sports person. Entirely to dunk on Putin's midget ass. Oh, we don't know. Oh, we don't know. It's huge. Fucking huge. That's what we know. It's even scary when you don't know, right? Like you see this and you're like, are all of these people 2 meters? And he's like 3. Holy shit. He has IMDb page. 2 meters. Holy crap. He has IMDb page? He was acting? I mean, some shorts. Oh, and 1 short and 1 proper movie. Chess movie. Proper chess movie. He acted in a proper chess movie. Make tops and watch this on the stream. Hey, by the way, I have to leave. I have to go to work. I have to go drive. It's 12:35. Okay, I'm supposed to leave for work in 5 minutes. What do you mean tiny? That's taller than I am. I'm 169. Okay, as long as you're taller than me, you're a scary person to me. Because if I go against you in a battle, I can't overpower you. I can't overpower you if you're shorter, possibly. But like, even if you are the same height or higher, it's even worse. Average height for everyone else in the world should be around 100. I want to say 40. I think I could overpower a 140 person. Everyone else is like questionable, highly questionable. Get a gun. Look, we here in Europe, we tend to do this thing of not allowing every random person to have a lethal weapon. You could overpower this. I don't know how tall he is. Sometimes I look at him and he seems like really tiny, and I'm pretty sure he's not really tiny. But I don't know how tiny he is. I don't know if he just hangs out with very huge people. Because like when I see him with other people, he's either sitting down or he's close to some people who look very physically huge. So I don't know how realistic expectations I have of his height. 170, 175. He's taller than me then. He could probably beat me up. He could probably beat me up. Probably some illegal guns circulating in Croatia. We actually found a stash of bombs recently locally. An old man died and he had a little like... I don't want to say factory. He had a little factory in his house. He was making like clothes. Not military factory. He was making clothing and stuff, right? That's like, hey, I managed 170 done. I need someone of 175. He was making clothes in his house. So he had like a huge, like think of a garage turned into a workshop, right? Where he was making these clothes. So his sons got the property after he died, and the sons were like, hey, yeah, we're just going to take all of this out, all of these like work equipment. We're going to take it out and we're going to sell it. So then, you know, we have a huge property with a huge garage and a huge house, and it's kind of a cool place to live in. So when they were taking out the property from the garage, they found like whole boxes of military equipment there, including bombs, just like unexploded bombs everywhere. So yeah, I could probably find some of that. I'm guessing it would be rather easy. Also, I'm fucking leaving. Listen, what's today? Wednesday is today. Tomorrow stream in the morning, just like today. Tomorrow stream is going to be in the morning. The Friday stream might be moved to Saturday, but I will see. Because I have to go to city one day, so we'll see how that goes. I will update you today, because now when I go to work, I should be learning about my schedule for the end of the week. I still don't have a proper schedule, so we'll see that. But yeah, tomorrow stream morning, so that stays on. Be happy for that. Let's go. Yeah, stay hydrated. Send me news if you have any. I have actually finished part of my terrorism thing. I think we're gonna do this next week too, because there's way too much of it. But I finished the Austrian one. I finished the Belgian one. Belgium has had a lot of terrorist attacks. in the last... I was trying to go into the last 3 decades, so starting from 1990s, there's way too much. And then I did Bulgaria, and Bulgaria had like one. Bulgaria had one, and it was this Burgas bus bombing, and it was an anti-Semitic terrorist attack, actually. It was Hezbollah, and they did the bombing on a bus carrying Israelis, and they did actually manage to kill the Bulgarian bus driver, and they managed to kill 5 Israelis who were on the bus. These were tourists from Israel who were being driven to their hotels. So, yeah, that's the only one I was able to find on Bulgaria so far. But yeah, going to be leaving. My older relatives were pretty pacific. Mine were not pacifists. Mine were not pacifists. They just don't have anything. Or they're hiding it. I'm not sure if they're hiding it. They could be having it somewhere. And like after they die, I'm gonna go into the house and just like find a bunch of bombs. And then put them in the background of the stream, you know? So every time you go in, you can be like, huh, nice little aesthetic. Nice little aesthetics Vicky is going for. She's like cosplaying a Croatian freedom fighter or something. Ha ha ha, I wonder where she got those realistic looking guns. And it's actually real guns. Talking about this though, holy shit, I actually have to be leaving. But you know what we found recently? We have a property that has been occupied during the war. And then basically there was a house on the property. The house has a basement. During the war, this property was under control of the Serb paramilitary forces, so we couldn't go there. And then the house was destroyed. So no one really went there for a while because there was fear of the mines. Recently, we managed to get into the property. So now it's back under our control, but you know, it's not really worth much because it's all destroyed and the forest is overgrown around it, and it's gonna need a lot of funding to make it into something worth of having. But in the basement, we found boxes of fake guns. Apparently, the police says that they could have been used by these paramilitaries to train new troops. It's fake guns. It's like, it's wooden guns. They're made very similar to real guns. And they're like very heavy and everything, but it's fake guns, just boxes of them. So I don't know if that's like anything interesting to you. Fun fact, we called the police because we were scared there was like bombs or something in the inside. No, just boxes and boxes of fake guns. Just rifles and everything. Yeah, they're a bit rotten, so maybe we could get like a box or two to sell to the Germans. Most of them are not really in a proper condition, it's just a bunch of fake guns around. So, you know, in case we get invaded, I'm gonna just take one and clunk people on the head, I guess. That's going to be my tactic. Actually leaving now, okay, I'm gonna be late for work. See you tomorrow, also in the morning, some morning coffee, save time for me. If you manage to catch Dylan live, go sub to him because he needs a lot of